Yeah! We're live! And there's nobody watching! Why is that? We need to fix this. We need to fix this, okay? We need to fix this. We're gonna fix this. There we go. Go. I'm gonna fix this right now. Got that. We're gonna share it out because it's Halloween, baby. It's Halloween. We're gonna have some fun here on All Hallows Eve. 5 people watching. Oh, that was quick. It's quick. 5 people are watching. I better see 5 thumbs up then. The fact that I don't, it's actually quite sinful. Oh, there's Alan Holland. How you doing, man? Happy Halloween. So, we got a big stream. We're gonna be here a long time. We got a big stream planned. We're gonna be here a long time. When you come in, you gotta hit that thumbs up. You come in, you hit that thumbs up. What's going on? Happy Halloween, Kevin Fiola. Kevin Fiola, happy Halloween, brother. Happy Halloween. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun here on All Hallows Eve. Of course, we got a little costume action right here. How you doing? Oh my God, of course Jess is here. Of course Jess is here. Take a guess, who am I? Who am I? And am I? Because I'm better than you. And you know it. So, we're going to share the stream out first. I was hoping that you were off of work, Jess. I really was. I was hoping you were off of work. I actually was hoping because I wanted you to see the MJF costume. I wanted to see your reaction. So first things first, we got to share it out. We got to share out the stream. Sharing out the stream, baby. Yeah, damn right, my girl Danielle. My girl Danielle getting to sharing. You already know. You already know what to do. Happy Halloween, happy Halloween. We're going to be here for a long time. We're going to be here for 3 hours. We're going to be here for 3 hours. We got a lot of shit. Yeah, we missed you too. We missed you too. Where have you been? You've been working. That's where you've been. I know you've been working. I know you've been working. I'm wearing your damn mask. Staying safe, you know. You know. Thank you very much, Danielle. Happy Halloween, Hannah. How you doing? Happy Halloween. Great to see you in the stream. Be sure to hit that thumbs up and share the stream out. You already know what the deal is. You already know. And then we're going to get started in just a little bit. We're going to get started in just a little bit. Share it out to a few more people. What'd you say? You think we ought to get started now? Think we ought to get started now? We got a decent amount of people in here. I'm pretty sure like everyone will follow suit. At least I hope everyone will follow suit. I mean, I know it is Halloween, but I mean, come on. Alright, I think we can get started. I think we can get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the channel on YouTube.com. As of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle, Wait for it. To mankind, this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, October 31st, 2020. Happy Halloween. Thank you, everyone, for spending your All Hallows Eve with the one and only DJ Storms. I mean, is there any better way to spend your All Hallows Eve than with your boy, the one and only DJ Storms? Of course that intro never gets old. Of course the intro never gets old. I mean, come on, I'm DJ Storms. I mean, if you ain't styling and profiling the way that DJ Storms is styling and profiling with the greatest intro in all of YouTube intros, then you ain't living. You ain't living. Well, ladies and gents, we got a lot to talk about here on the Lightning Flash update. We're going to be here for a long, long time. We're going to spend a lot of time. Yeah, there we go. Kevin Fiola. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. But we got a lot to talk about, and it's going to be a very fun and festive LFU, as we got a shit ton of news and rumors to dissect. We got 7 weekly shows. That's right, 7 weekly shows to go over. So you are going to want to stick around, ladies and gents. You're going to want to stick around until the end, because we got a ton of material to dissect. We got a ton of material to go over, and it's going to be a very, very, very fun time here. But first things first, as per usual, we got to get through the usual self-brand promotion and advertisements. First things first, please. Oh, he's always been a wrestling YouTuber. You see, MJ, you see, my boy, what was it, Gamers Goon, my boy Gamers Goon on Twitter, he's like, oh, this is gimmick infringement. I'm like, no. It ain't gimmick infringement if you can do it better than the original, just so you know. But first things first, please follow me on Twitter, at HistoryMakerDJS. You'll find out why I am the operator of the best damn Twitter on the known mankind. Follow me on Instagram and Periscope at TheDJStorms. There you go, Jess knows. Please add me on Facebook. Of course, for collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. And then, of course, like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all the links are in the description. I will place them in the description after the stream is over. If you guys missed the rewind for WWE Hell in a Cell 2020, I will, of course, place the link to that video in the description after the stream is over. So please go and check that out if you guys missed it. That's doing great. That's actually over 30 likes. That's over 100 views. We are, making moves over there. We are making moves with the rewind. Of course, I dissected everything Hell in a Cell related. Of course, if you guys haven't already done so, we are 7 people deep, 8 people deep in this chat. I only see 4 thumbs up. You see, that is a problem. I need you guys to hit the like button if you haven't already done so. It is a problem when there is more people than there is likes in the stream. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already done so. You see, I'm trying to expand, I'm trying to grow, and you guys are preventing me from doing that. So, I need you guys to help me out there. And when you hit the like button, you gotta keep the conversation going, you gotta keep the chat alive, and you gotta share this video out and share the stream out on all platforms, social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, whatever the hell you share it out on. Share it out and get people in here and chill on All Hallows Eve with the one and only Antichrist of the IWC himself. Of course, when you keep the chat alive, you gotta hit the subscribe button. You gotta hit the subscribe button because me, of course, I want to grow, I want to expand, and I want to get some more people into the DJ Storms posse. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Become a member of the DJ Storms posse. And of course, when you hit that subscribe button, you gotta hit the notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You see, it's the only time you're gonna get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination, this beautiful mustache right there. Hang on. Do I have it? Do I? Uh-huh. I never leave home without it. And you know why? Because everybody wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion and the advertisement. We got to get this video to 100 likes. Hannah, share it out. Whatever accounts you got on YouTube, hit the like button. We need to get as many likes as possible on this video and on this stream. Come on, it's All Hallows Eve. I'm taking time out of my day to do this shit for you guys, so you guys better get this shit to at least 100 thumbs up. It is absolutely preposterous. It is preposterous that I don't have a video, or at least I have a few that's over 100 thumbs up. Yeah, I gave Wardlow the day off. So, first things first. We're going to dive straight into the news, rumors, and reports here. We got a lot of news, rumors, and reports to talk about. And I got one that is really not all that surprising that we're going to start off with. We're going to start off with the fact that Ringside News reported that Vince McMahon has reportedly lost all interest in the Retribution faction and storyline. I mean, it really doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. I mean, just look at what's been happening on TV. They are 0-4. 0-4 since debuting. And then everyone was jumping for joy. That Mustafa Ali became the leader. Oh my God, Mustafa Ali's going to have a prominent role on television. Look what happened. What happened? They lost. Again. And again. And again. Slapjack, Applejack, Kangaroo Jack tapped out in 4 minutes to Bobby Lashley at Hell in a Cell. I really don't even know what else I could say. I really don't know what else I could say that everyone in the community hasn't already said about Retribution. At this rate, it's all just a lost cause. At this rate, the best route, like I've said, from day one, the best route would just be to completely take them off of television. Have them go away, have them spend a month or two away, just no sign of them, no mention of them, no nothing Retribution related, and then have them debut under their real names. Have them re-debut as Mia Yim or Dominik Dijakovic, Mustafa Ali, Shane Thorne. Send some back down to NXT, or if you want, you can have them debut on both Raw and SmackDown separately, and you can have them go off and do their own thing. Because whatever they're doing here with Mustafa Ali, whatever they're doing here with, fucking T-balls and Disgrace and Slapjack, Slap Dick, Slap Nuts, Applejack, Kangaroo Jack, Jack Black, whatever the hell you want to call them, it ain't working. Vince McMahon has reportedly lost all interest in the Retribution storyline. Typical Vince right here. He institutes something, and then once he gets bored of it, he gets bored of it. Terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. What was the point of even instituting it if you were just going to lose interest in it? If you have lost interest in it, then take it off of television. It's not that hard to figure out. Moving on. Multiple sources, including WrestleVotes, actually provided an update on the WWE Thunderdome. So for those of you who are wondering why WWE is still in the Thunderdome when they were supposed to be kicked out at the end of the month, but they are apparently still in the Thunderdome, apparently they have the deal extended through the month of November. So WrestleVotes tweeted out 2 tweets that stated, and I quote, Thunderdome update. This was the first tweet. Sources say WWE is set to leave the Amway Center by the 1st of December. Arenas in North Carolina, Texas, and Illinois were discussed over the weekend. WWE needs to find a spot where no team plays to be able to find a... I'm sorry, I can't fucking speak today. Arenas in North Carolina, Texas, and Illinois were discussed over the weekend. WWE needs to find a spot where no team plays and able to house the weight and power requirements of the setup. That was the first tweet. The second tweet read, and I quote, a new arena is preferred as the weight of the Thunderdome won't work with older buildings. Also, a major travel hub is needed as talent will be flying in and out each week. Not the easiest combination of things to find, end quote. So, here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why WWE is even instituting the Thunderdome to begin with. Why are you so obsessed with wasting all of this money on a virtual fan experience? And this actually ties into what I'm going to talk about at the end of the news, rumors, and reports section with WWE experiencing their 3rd COVID outbreak, which realistically is not that big of a deal. I mean, if you're a healthy individual, like most of the individuals that are employed by the WWE, they're healthy, they're young, they got a lot of life left in them. You're going to get over it. You're going to overcome it. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day, but the thing that I'm pissed about is the fact that WWE is just so fucking lazy that they fail to take the proper precautions. I don't understand why WWE is even wasting all of this money on the fucking Thunderdome when you have the ability to have fans in attendance at whatever arena that you decide to host your shows in. Just look at what AEW is doing. AEW is doing the limited 10 to 15%, 25% max capacity. They actually had even more fans in attendance this past Wednesday on Dynamite, considering that the state of Florida is now starting to allow larger capacities at arenas. So if AEW is doing it, then why the fuck isn't WWE doing it? Why? Just because they got to be different? It's a waste of fucking money. Thunderdome's a waste of fucking money. Just have regular fans in attendance, implement rules, and go forth with it. It's not really that big of a deal, but of course, WWE doesn't want to do that. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more when we get to that section. So, that's pretty much the update on the Thunderdome. For those of you who are wondering, I actually got an interesting report related to NXT UK. Listen to this. According to Tokyo Sports, by way of Fightful, Meiko Satomura is expected to travel to NXT UK in early November and start performing there, and she will reportedly be participating as a wrestler and a coach. So if you guys remember Meiko Satomura from the 2018 Mae Young Classic, she put on that great match with Toni Storm in the semifinals. That was the match of the tournament, if you ask me. If you guys remember her, she was great. She's got a lot to offer. And Meiko Satomura being added to the NXT UK Women's Division, that right there is a huge leap in the right direction as far as NXT UK goes. That should definitely get some more eyes on NXT UK. You got a lot of great stuff as far as the NXT UK Women's Division goes. You got Eva Valkyrie there. You got Kaylee Ray, who is probably the best women's heel in all of WWE right now outside of Bayley. You got Piper Niven, you got Isla Dawn, you're going to add Meiko Satomura. That is a very, 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 very nice setup that you got there. And, you know, if you ask me, Kaylee Ray and Meiko Satomura, that right there, that's a women's match of the year candidate waiting to happen. So, if you ask me, Meiko Satomura could be sending shockwaves throughout the UK. That's a huge report right there. I thought it would be interesting to talk about. But let me know what you guys think about Meiko Satomura possibly joining NXT UK. Here's another interesting report. I'm not sure how many of you guys read this one, but an interesting report. While speaking to Sports Illustrated, Jeff Hardy proposed an idea to introduce Willow the Wisp into the WWE by having him feud with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. This is what he stated, and I quote, "I want Willow to have something to do with the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Though what it is, I'm not sure yet. That's one of the struggles right now inside my head. I'm thinking that Willow is stuck in a little black and white TV of the Twilight Zone in the Firefly Funhouse. Maybe the Fiend beats Jeff Hardy, and that's why I transform into Willow. It's cool that pro wrestling allows all this creativity to exist. For me, it's always been where my dreams come true, and still is to this day." End quote. The mystery drink I'm always sipping, Jess, it's just ice water. It's just ice water. It's really not that special. It's just freaking ice water in a mug to keep me hydrated because I speak for 3 fucking hours every week. Big Fight Field, Joseph Conlon, how you doing, man? But Jeff Hardy, let me tell you something. Jeff Hardy may be up there in age, but I know that Jeff and Matt himself, the Hardy Boys, are two very, very, very creative minds. And I know that Jeff Hardy, he loves what he does, and he loves working. He loves working with creative minds himself. You know, we saw what Jeff Hardy did with the Ultimate Deletion with Matt Hardy. We saw what Jeff Hardy did with Sheamus in that bar fight. So, if anything, this could actually work out well. This would make the most sense. And on top of that, this would probably be the best route for the Fiend going into WrestleMania. I still don't know why they're doing what they're doing with the Fiend right now and Randy Orton, which we'll talk about when we get into the Raw portion of the review. But this is probably the best route for the Fiend going into WrestleMania. I can't really see anything for the Fiend at WrestleMania except a potential feud with Jeff Hardy and a cinematic match with Willow the Wisp. Now, if Vince McMahon allows Jeff Hardy and Bray Wyatt to do their thing and do this match, the cinematic match, and just completely book this feud on their own with no other creative influence from Vince McMahon and his team, this could actually turn out to be one of the best things in 2021 if they decide to do it going into WrestleMania. And like I said, it's probably the best route for the Fiend because I can't see the Fiend in a World Championship title program. The Fiend doesn't need a World Championship. The Fiend should not be fighting for a World Championship just based off of prior history. On top of that, the Fiend right now is barely hanging on to any relevancy. And if you really want to boost some relevancy back up, then the best route to do that would be a creative feud with Jeff Hardy in which he introduces Willow the Wisp. And like I said, we could be in for something very, very interesting if we actually get Jeff Hardy and Bray Wyatt booking this thing and writing this thing themselves, because Bray Wyatt is undoubtedly the most creative mind in the business right now. I don't think that there's anyone as creative as Bray Wyatt when it comes to the wrestling business as a whole. But as far as Jeff Hardy goes, if he's working with Bray Wyatt, can you imagine the material that we could be subjected to on Monday Night Raw? That's probably the best route for both men. Matter of fact, I don't understand why they're doing that right now. But to a certain extent, I would save it for WrestleMania. But I would much rather have them feud right now than have Bray Wyatt go off in a feud with Randy Orton and have Jeff Hardy fighting a fucking guitar on a pole match with Elias. But if we do get this, if we do get this, and Jeff Hardy and Bray Wyatt are booking this themselves, I think we could be in for something very, 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 very interesting. And again, this is probably the best route for The Fiend going into WrestleMania. I really can't see any other route for them as far as booking The Fiend on a WrestleMania 37 card. There's really nothing else. So, I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think about that. Oh, by the way, here's something that I gotta get off my chest right here. Mike Johnson, and this was actually reported a couple of days ago. I believe it was reported on Thursday. Mike Johnson, a PW insider, first reported that Vince McMahon issued a name change for Matt Riddle. I kid you not here. I'm not bullshitting you here. He will just go by Riddle from now on. And I was surfing my Twitter. And literally up and down the timeline, I saw Riddler jokes all across the timeline. Even fucking Drew Gulak. And I don't even think he gives a shit. Even Drew Gulak was joking on the entire scenario. It's fucking ridiculous. And I don't even understand, I really don't understand what the mentality of WWE really is. And this right here, this is nothing more than Matt Riddle being punished for what's going on between him and his ex-wife, Candy Cuntwright. Whatever the hell you want to call her. And I really don't know what's in store for him. To be quite honest with you, if I was Matt Riddle, I would leave. There is literally nothing that can be said that is even remotely justifiable to this. I apologize. It's kind of in a glitchy stance right now. I don't know what's going on. The connection sometimes really isn't that good. But I really don't know what else I can say. About Matt Riddle now just being called Riddle. It's like WWE fixing things that aren't broken. I don't even know. I really don't know. I really don't even know. Now we're going to have to be subjected to Matt Riddle just being called Riddle. It is a fucking joke. This is what WWE thinks of their talent. It is a matter of time. Before he's wearing all green and he's doing Riddle jokes. Riddle me this, bro. Riddle me this. Moving on to my final report. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, he reported that WWE experienced its third COVID outbreak this month. He noted that it was at the Capitol Wrestling Center, and the outbreak reportedly happened last Friday, and people who were there were asked to quarantine. And reportedly, there was one person that was supposed to be on the Nxt Halloween Havoc show, and it was Indy Hartwell. If you guys noticed, there was a person in a Scream mask that helped Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae in their matches at Halloween Havoc, and that was reportedly supposed to be Indy Hartwell. Now, obviously, more likely than not, it's probably going to end up being revealed to be Indy Hartwell, but at the end of the day, it was supposed to be Indy Hartwell just as Indy Hartwell, not even in a Scream outfit. Regardless of that, this really isn't that big of a deal because there is a certain standard that a lot of people follow as far as the performance center goes. Obviously, they're healthy individuals. Obviously, they're young. They're not old. They're not brittle. They're not like babies. So it's not really going to take that big of an effect on them. And people are going to overcome this. People are going to get over this, and people are going to be just fine. I mean, Donald Trump, he got the best possible treatment possible for his COVID diagnosis, and he was back and better than ever in a week. So if Donald Trump can overcome it, then I think that the people at the Performance Center can overcome it. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that it is really embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. This is the third COVID outbreak. This is the third COVID outbreak that WWE has had in the last, 7 to 8 months? How come you don't hear this shit with AEW? And they got fans. And this only further validates what I said about the fucking Thunderdome. This only further validates what I said about the Thunderdome because of the simple fact that WWE does not want to take these fucking precautions because they're fucking lazy and they want to act like they're above the virus. They want to act like it doesn't exist. You can't work around the virus. You can't ignore it. You cannot act like it doesn't exist. It's everywhere. It shut down the fucking world for God knows how many weeks when it first came about. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. You cannot go around it. You cannot fight it. Implement the proper precautions. Maybe if you would implement the proper precautions, maybe you'd be able to have fans back in attendance. But of course, you don't want to do that. You want to have full fans back in attendance and you want to act like nothing's the matter. So what do? You have to institute this fucking Thunderdome because you don't want to take the proper precautions. You don't want to take the proper precautions, so you instead institute the Thunderdome and the Capitol Wrestling Center just to work around everything. You never hear this shit about AEW. Never hear this shit about New Japan. You never hear this shit about Impact. You never hear this shit about fucking NWA because they're taking the proper precautions. They're either having fans in there and implementing social distancing, the limited capacity, temperature checks, and masks, or they're not having fans at all. I don't understand what is so fucking hard about just going forth, implementing social distancing, enforcing the masks, temperature checks, and doing the limited capacity. I really don't understand what's so fucking hard about that. Is it really that you're that lazy, or is it the fact that you don't give a shit about your employees and you don't give a shit about your fighter? It is fucking embarrassing. This is the world's largest wrestling company, and you've had third COVID outbreaks. You see, at least with AEW, at least when someone is diagnosed with COVID for AEW, like a QT Marshall or a Lance Archer, they announce it, and they actually acknowledge it on television, and they take them off of television, and they quarantine away from the public, so that way it doesn't spread to the rest of the employees. But with WWE, I don't think I've ever heard anyone announce that they tested positive for COVID outside of maybe Kayla Braxton and Renee Young. 2 people. It's the fact that people are legitimately afraid. People are legitimately afraid to say anything about COVID because they're afraid they're going to get some fucking backlash from the boss. Stop acting like you're above the fucking virus. You cannot act like you're above the virus. You're not above the virus. You are not going to accomplish anything by acting like nothing is wrong. Start implementing the proper precautions. Start caring. And maybe you wouldn't have so many disgruntled fucking employees. It's like a fucking prison. There's your rant as far as the weekly show reviews go. There's your rant. How you doing? How you doing, Nathan? It's been a while. Nathan the Great, how you doing? Oh, I am fancy today, Leo. I'm actual Jacob Friedman, wrestler in AEW. Because I'm better than you, and you know it. Anyway. So, we are going to jump shift to the weekly show reviews. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. Outside of Monday Night Raw, the weekly shows overall were not that bad. Monday Night Raw is just fucking unbearable. Thank you very much, Nathan. Monday Night Raw is just fucking unbearable. I don't understand how anyone could even enjoy Monday Night Raw. I mean, if you enjoy Monday Night Raw, your standards really are low as shit, and I really don't have any respect for you. But regardless of that, we are going to dissect everything as far as the weekly show reviews go. We got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to need you guys to strap in. Strap in. It is going to be a very, very, very fun weekly show review section. And of course, we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was an absolute fucking abomination. An absolute fucking abomination. And we're going to dissect why it was an abomination. And if you support Monday Night Raw, you are a fucking cancer to the community. Oh, trust me, I'm going full MJF right now. Thank you very much. So we had Drew McIntyre. We had Drew McIntyre kicking off the show. Drew McIntyre, he says he's trying to think of the words. He says he has no excuses, but he has one promise. He will be WWE Champion once again. He says, if you know what was going on inside his mind, you'd be scared. And then Miz and Morrison interrupt. So the Miz says, bravo, Drew. Morrison says they came out to congratulate him on a great WWE title reign. Miz then bragged about winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. He says that this makes him Mr. Money in the Bank and entitles him to a world title match anytime, any place. He brought up his previous cash-in on Randy Orton. Morrison then mocked Drew McIntyre's 19-year journey. Drew McIntyre had enough. He headbutted The Miz, threw Drew across the ring. They got out of Dodge. They ran off. Drew McIntyre says he's got an idea. He's going to run by WWE management. It's going to be a bad night for Miz and Morrison. And that was the opening segment. This segment did absolutely nothing, only validate what I said on the rewind for WWE Hell in a Cell. Everything that I said about The Miz on the rewind for Hell in a Cell was validated in this entire segment. The Miz and Morrison have been nothing but a bad comedy act that have been used as glorified enhancement talents throughout the entire fucking year. And then I see these people praising The Miz. I see these people advocating for The Miz as Mr. Money in the Bank right now. I'm not sure what you're smoking, but this isn't 2016 Miz in his feud with Dolph Ziggler over the Intercontinental Championship. This isn't 2018 Miz in his feud with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. That Miz is dead and gone. This Miz is a fucking embarrassment. The Miz, like I've said, The Miz has gone down in the ring as far as intensity goes. He has some of the weakest offense that I think I've ever seen in the entire wrestling industry right now. He has some of the weakest offense in the entire wrestling industry right now, number one. Number two, this act with Morrison has become one of the worst things about WWE programming as we speak. Morrison should be away from The Miz. He should be fighting in the mid-card on either SmackDown or Raw. Because Morrison is actually a great fucking wrestler. Morrison actually has a lot left in the tank for his age. He may be over 40 years old, but he's still in great fucking shape. The Miz has done absolutely nothing this year but prove that he is yesterday's news. The Miz is yesterday's news. The Miz has absolutely no value whatsoever. And The Miz is not going to win a championship. You really think that The Miz is going to win the WWE Championship when you got Drew McIntyre and The Fiend swarming Randy Orton? And Randy Orton, more likely than not, is going into WrestleMania, and he's going to be facing Edge for the WWE Championship. Unless they have him cash in on Edge after he wins it, which to God I hope not. To God I hope not. I'm just wondering why they didn't split up Miz and Morrison in the draft. On top of that, you really think he's going to cash in on Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns right now, he's untouchable. Roman Reigns right now is untouchable as far as this tribal chief gimmick goes. There ain't no fucking chance in hell that Roman Reigns is going to be losing that championship. Not even at WrestleMania. Some people advocating for The Miz, this current version of The Miz, as a WWE champion. My God, you people are fucking dumb. You people are absolutely fucking dumb. It is very, very sad. It really is. The Miz is one of the worst things about WWE programming right now. Like I said, this is not 2016 Miz. This is not 2018 Miz. The Miz is a dead character. It doesn't matter what past glory that he has. I don't give a shit what past glory that he has. What matters is what he's doing now. And what has he done now to prove to you that he deserves a WWE Championship reign or a Universal Championship reign? What makes you think he has any credibility whatsoever? Maybe if this was AJ Styles, but I can't sing any praises in this scenario because The Miz is a dead fucking character and he ain't going anywhere. He ain't going anywhere. Those are my thoughts on The Miz. Moving on. We had Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles. This was a Survivor Series qualifying match. AJ Styles, he took the mic, says he's 2-0 since coming to Raw. It's the return of the phenomenal era. And he asked, why is AJ Styles in a qualifying match for Survivor Series? He says that his associate does not want to be noticed or talked to. And he called Hardy a cheater for using the knee brace. He says, if you try what you did with Elias, my associate will make you wish you never put down that bottle. So obviously, shoving the alcoholism into Jeff Hardy's face. Jeff Hardy signing a new deal with this company, like the idiot that he is. So Hardy came out, the match began. Decent match. Nothing too crazy, nothing too overwhelming, but it was a decent match. Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles, they got decent chemistry together. So Styles with a brainbuster on Hardy for a 2. Hardy mounted a comeback, low drop kick and a splash. Hardy with Hardiac arrest. That only got a 2 count. Styles with Uchi-Goroshi. Styles with the torture rack bomb for a 2. We had a gourd buster by Hardy. Hardy was then shoved off the top by AJ Styles. And then Hardy was then shoved into the LED post. Styles threw him back in the ring, hit the phenomenal forearm, and Styles qualifies for the Survivor Series. Decent match right here. Probably one of the best things on the show. And then afterwards, Elias then came up from behind, and he hit Hardy with the guitar. So obviously, that was not the first time that we would see Elias, nor was it the first time that we would see Jeff Hardy. And that was pretty much that. Decent match. Probably one of the best things on the show. Probably one of the 2 things on the show that you could actually go back and rewatch and you could stomach. We then had Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak versus the Lucha House Party, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. R-Truth came out midway through this match to stop competition like a fucking idiot. He's the 24/7, 48/7, 7-Eleven, I-95 South European television champion that can be defended anytime, any place, but yet he's coming out to scout the competition like a fucking idiot. Tozawa tried to roll R-Truth up when he came out. Truth dodged and had a leak. Drew Gulak and Lince Dorado tried to win the title from Truth. Dorado then rolled up Drew Gulak for the win, and Truth kept on getting rolled up. He kept on kicking out, and then Truth ran off as everyone else followed. This is absolutely fucking embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Look at the talent. Look at the talent. Akira Tozawa and Drew Gulak, 2 men whom I once sang great praises of on 205 Live. Akira Tozawa, this man was putting on great matches with the likes of Adam Cole and Leo Rush and Mike Kanellis and Tony Nese. Drew Gulak, he was once a cruiserweight champion. He was on SmackDown putting on great matches with Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. And now look at where he is. And it's his fault. He signed a new fucking deal with this company, knowing what this company was going to do to him. Talik and Lince Dorado. Two great athletes. Two individuals who are very fun to watch in the ring. And what are they regulated to? 24/7 championship garbage. The sooner that the 24/7 championship is burned in a pit of fire, the better. I'm surprised that they didn't take it to hell when they were at Hell in a Cell, and they didn't burn it inside hell. So, we then had the Firefly Funhouse. This was actually a very entertaining segment here. So, Wyatt welcomed everyone to his Mad Hatter Tea Party. Rambling Rabbit said Hell in a Cell was great last night. It was semi-decent, Rambling Rabbit. I think Rambling Rabbit may have drank a little too much tea. It had some semi-decent moments, but great. Take it easy there. I know that was a Bruce Pritchard line right there. So Alexa Bliss comes in. She said that she brought tea. She said that it contained strawberries, peaches, sugar, and a secret ingredient. Rambling Rabbit drank the tea, and he asked what the secret ingredient is. She said arsenic. So Rambling Rabbit, he didn't feel so good. He died. I was laughing. Not gonna lie, I was laughing. So he died. The rabbit died. Wyatt then said, we're all a little mad down here. Wyatt then put his hand on Bliss's head, took it away, and then Bliss's eyes opened up, and they were beet red. She said, let him in. She then plugged her moment of bliss with Randy Orton. Wyatt then started having flashbacks from the time that Randy Orton burned down Sister Abigail's cabin. Rambling Rabbit came back to life, and then Bray Wyatt beat him senseless with a mallet. He then said goodbye, and that was that. And that was the Firefly Funhouse segment. Fairly entertaining. Bliss is actually playing her role very, very well, I must say. I really do must say. And regardless of how shitty Alexa Bliss is as a wrestler, she's actually making up for that in terms of this current gimmick with Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse. So then we had Keithley versus Elias. And if you wanted a bathroom break, well, this entire show was a fucking bathroom break. What am I fucking saying? But this was one of the many bathroom break segments of Monday Night Raw. We had Elias in the ring. He said he got payback on Hardy for hitting him with a car. Which, by the way, Hardy didn't hit you with a car, you fucking dumbass! It was Sheamus! You're pretty much downplaying the eyewitnesses that showed up to the fucking police station that Jeff Hardy was being questioned at to see whether he was drunk or not. You're pretty much downplaying those eyewitnesses. You're downplaying the word of the cops. Tell me Elias isn't this stupid. So Elias, he was interrupted by Keithley. He got pounced over the announce desk going into commercial. Elias then sent Lee into the post and the barricade. We had a dive axe handle for a 2. Elias with a very sloppy neck breaker. Very fucking sloppy neck breaker. We had Elias up on the top, but he got distracted when Jeff Hardy's music hit. So Elias is a 2-time dumbass. So first he thinks that Jeff Hardy hit him with a car, and then he takes his attention off the Survivor Series qualifying match because Jeff Hardy's music hit. What a fucking idiot. Lee took advantage of the Spirit Bomb and qualified, and then Hardy came up from behind him and hit him with a guitar. And that was pretty much that. I don't know who is invested in this storyline. I don't know who could possibly give a shit about this storyline. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Elias is a dead character. He is a dead gimmick. Elias has absolutely no value whatsoever. He has become Braun Strowman 2.0. He had the potential, thinking about the fucking Firefly Funhouse. Braun Strowman had all the potential in the world, and they waited way too long to capitalize on him. They waited way too long to capitalize on him, and now Braun Strowman regressed in the ring, and now he's a complete fucking afterthought. He's one of the worst things about WWE television. Same thing with Elias. And they've done the same thing with Elias each and every single time. Had him go out there, cut a promo, play a song, and then he wrestles, and he loses and loses and loses. But we're supposed to care about Elias, right? The Hurt Business versus Retribution. So we're getting this match again. We're getting this match again. The Hurt Business versus Retribution. This was, and here's the kicker here. This was a Survivor Series elimination match. With the Hurt Business and Retribution 4 weeks before the actual Survivor Series pay-per-view. What sense does that fucking make? So MVP took the mic. MVP took the mic to cut a promo. He said that they don't run. Lashley said they look at Retribution as an opportunity. MVP said they'll be looking to collect payment after they handle the Retribution problem. Benjamin said they want that payment in gold. So obviously, SmackDown was actually a semi-decent show. Trust me, I'll be talking about that. But trust, I ain't done with Raw yet. I ain't fucking done with Raw yet. Trust me. You're going to want to hear this. So, Retribution came out. The whole shebang Retribution came out. We had Applejack, Kangaroo Jack. We had Disgrace. We had, who do we have? We had T-Balls. T-Balls came out. We had, Reckoning. You know what I need? I've not come up with a name for Reckoning. I got Disgrace for Mace. I got T-Balls for T-Bar. I got Applejack, Kangaroo Jack for Slapjack. I need something for Reckoning, so please help me out. Help me out. I need something for Reckoning. What can I say for Reckoning? Recoiling? Recoiling, because that's all I do when I watch Monday Night Raw. I recoil in disgust. So we're going to call Reckoning Recoiling. So Retribution came out, the match began, MVP took out Slapjack, and then we had Nia, Reckoning, Recoiling, coming up on the apron, and she started twitching her neck, and she started rubbing on her fucking arms and saying, get it off, get it off. She rolled into the ring, and she screamed in the air and started rolling around on the fucking mat like if she was trying to mimic a fucking seizure. And then Slapjack, Applejack, Kangaroo Jack, Slapnuts, Jack Black, Slapdick, Slapjack, whatever the hell you want to call him, rolled up MVP, and MVP gets eliminated. I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin with this. And here's the fucking kicker. I actually had some fucking idiots on Twitter. Me here. I actually had some fucking morons, some fucking retards on Twitter trying to defend what they did to Mia Yim. Oh, Mia Yim is getting TV time. Oh, Mia Yim's getting TV time. Look, she's mimicking a seizure. She's mimicking a distraction to try and aid Retribution. Are you fucking retarded? Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your ever-living mind? What the fuck is your malfunction? How is this good in any way, shape, or form? Mia Yim rolling around on the fucking mat, twitching her arm, twitching her leg, twitching her neck, acting like she's got like sulfuric acid on her fucking hands. Get it off, get it off, get it off. Screaming into the air like a motherfucking banshee. Oh, trust me, if I was in front of Vince, my God, his wrinkles, he would gain 10 times as much wrinkles as before. What's going on, Midnight Rose? How you doing? Hit the like button. So fucking recoiling, faked a seizure. It would be more than an assault, Jess. Believe that. So fucking recoiling, started twitching her neck and shit like that. She faked a fucking seizure. Slapjack eliminated MVP. And then during the commercial, it was revealed that she faked it, and then she got ejected from ringside. So Applejack then got speared by Lashley, and Applejack was eliminated. We then had T-Bar, or excuse me, I'm sorry. T-Balls. Please hit that thumbs up, Midnight Rose. So, T-Balls, T-Blue Balls, and Lashley, they brawled into the Thunderdome, and they both got counted out. So it was 2-on-2. And that was the last we saw of T-Balls. So then we had a Neuralizer and a Pay Dirt, and Mace, Disgrace, was eliminated. So Disgrace was eliminated. We then had Ali all by himself. Ali was all on his own. And Ali then used the chair against Cedric, and the Hurt Business won. That is the 4th loss in a row for Retribution. They are 0-4. But yet, we are still supposed to take them seriously. What the fuck was the point of this? Can anyone legitimately answer me the question? What the fuck was the point of this? What the fuck was the point? Why? Why do we have to be subjected to another match between Retribution and the Hurt Business if it's just going to end pretty much the same exact way that the other 2 matches ended, with Retribution losing? So that was that. And then afterwards, Ali ran away like a pussy. Man, I feel so fucking bad for Mustafa Ali. I can't help but feel bad for the guy. This man has been absolutely fucking buried every step of the way. This guy cannot catch a phone. When is this guy's contract up? Please. If this guy's contract is up at the end of next year or the beginning of 2022, I would just, you know what? I wouldn't even wait until his contract is up. I would just walk the fuck out. Pull a CM Punk, pull a Pac, and walk out. Walk. Drew McIntyre versus The Miz. Who did you give a shit? I didn't give a shit. I was too busy. Stuffing my face with a fucking turkey burger. Jess. I'm actually glad that you're here, Jess, because this is what I was missing. From you. Casey's probably gonna see this, and Casey's gonna look at me like I got 6 fucking heads. Anyway, Drew McIntyre and The Miz. Did you care? I didn't care. Drew McIntyre with a couple of belly-to-bellies. He then took out Morrison and then tossed the briefcase up the ramp like it's a piece of trash. Claymore to The Miz, and The Miz loses to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre wins, and The Miz looks like a complete fucking goon. Complete loser. Miz looks like a complete loser. I didn't give a shit. So it don't matter at the end of it all. It don't matter. Glass Soldier. I don't know who the fuck you are, but let me tell you something. You gotta continue to grow. You gotta continue to grow. Trust me, it took me a while, but, you know, now everybody wants a piece of this glorious sideburn chin strap combo and this beautiful mustache right here. As long as you keep on growing. Trust me, you'll be a man in time. You'll be a man in time, just like your boy. Anyway. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Drew on the beat. Drew on the beat. How you doing? Hit that thumbs up. Happy Halloween, bro. So here's what we got over here. After this, we had Pat Buck. And Adam Pearce in the ring. So Pearce introduced Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler as the first two women on the Raw Women's team for Survivor Series. Buck then introduced Rose and Brooke as the next two members, and Pearce said the final member will be determined in a fatal four-way match with Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross. This match was fucking horrible. This match was absolutely fucking horrible. The Raw Women's division is probably even worse than it was a year ago. And I don't even believe I'm even fucking saying that. I don't even understand how you could possibly get any worse than you were a year ago with this Raw Women's division. This match was fucking terrible. And here's something that I want to know. Nikki Cross is in this match. Nikki Cross is in this fucking match. You don't have Nikki Cross, the woman who took Asuka to the fucking limit in a last woman standing match on NXT back in 2017? How is that Dana Brooke and Nia Jax are on the fucking team, but you don't have Nikki Cross on the fucking team? Oh, and get this. You know who won this match? Lana won this match. There was a Tower of Doom superplex spot. And Lana yanked Peyton Royce out of the ring, and she pinned Nikki Cross. Raw women, Stevie, bro, the Raw women ain't fucking winning this shit. You take a look at the SmackDown team, Bianca Belair's on the SmackDown team. That's all you need to know. Bianca Belair is going to embarrass the shit out of everyone on Monday Night Raw. EST. Anyway, so Lana yanked Peyton Royce. Lana yanked Peyton Royce out of the ring, and she pinned Nikki Cross to qualify for the team. Lana is the fifth member. So here's what happened. So Nia Jax then invited Lana out to come and embrace her. So they embraced. And I'm going to give you one guess what happened. What do you think happened next? So Nia Jax invites Lana in for a hug. What the fuck do you think happened next? Nia Jax picked up Lana. Nia Jax put Lana on her shoulders. Nia Jax moved over to the announce table after she motioned to Shayna Baszler to set up the announce table. And Lana was Samoan dropped through the announce table for the sixth time. 6 times. And I'm going to give you one guess. I'm going to give you one guess as to why Lana's even on the Survivor Series team. You know what's going to happen? I guarantee you that Lana's on the Survivor Series team because Nia Jax is going to watch Lana. Lana's going to be the first woman. Lana's going to be the first overall woman eliminated, and then Nia Jax is going to drag her out of the ring, put her on her shoulders, and Samoan drop her again through the announce table in a fit of rage. That's the only reason why Lana's even on the announce team. Announce team. The Survivor Series team. See, she's gone through the table so many fucking times that I'm calling her a part of the announce team. She may as well be a part of the announce fucking team at this rate. Exactly, Stevie, exactly. Lana's going through 2 fucking tables at Survivor Series. How many more weeks do we have in 2019? 8? That's 8 more weeks of Lana going through the table. Matter of fact, I'd be surprised if Lana doesn't get put through a table all the way up until WrestleMania. My man Earl Cole is here. How you doing, Earl? Thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up. Glad to see you here. 6 fucking times. 6 times. So, then we had Matt Riddle and Sheamus. Now this was undoubtedly the best match of the night. Probably one of the best matches of the week. Compete in a table, there you go. She's gonna compete in a fucking tables match. There you go. Even Jess knows. Jess knows that Lana is gonna end up competing in a tables match at WrestleMania. She might as well go through 7 fucking tables at WrestleMania 37. No, never mind 7. 37 fucking tables. 37 tables for 37 WrestleManias. Unfucking real. Before Matt Riddle and Sheamus, we had Mustafa Ali cutting a promo in the back with Retribution. I would be lying to you if I told you that I paid attention to anything that was said here. Organo knows what's up. Lana's a fucking joke. And I don't even give a shit about Lana, but this is just fucking pathetic at this rate. So Mustafa Ali cut a promo in the back of Retribution. I didn't pay attention. I didn't give a shit. But we did get Sheamus versus Matt Riddle. Not Riddle, Matt Riddle. So Sheamus kept the pressure on Riddle. Heavy strikes, stiff strikes. Riddle with a springboard floating bro going into commercial. Riddle mounted a comeback with a big PK and a Broton. Sheamus with a nasty fucking knee strike. Sheamus with a intention to go up to the top. So he's going up on top. Sheamus was then caught by Matt Riddle with a huge exploder suplex from the top. Sheamus tried for the bro kick. Matt Riddle dodged it, hit a German suplex for a 2. Riddle's back gave out, and then Riddle got bro kicked, and Sheamus qualifies for the Survivor Series. This was a very, 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 very good match right here. This and Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles, those were the only 2 things actually worth going back and watching for Monday Night Raw. So if you wanted to go back and watch Monday Night Raw, go out of your way to watch Matt Riddle and Sheamus. It was a fucking war. Not as much of a war as Ilya Dragunov and Walter, which we'll talk about, but we'll get to it. So then we had a moment of bliss, moment of piss, moment of wish that this entire segment was not to be. So Bliss introduced Randy Orton. Orton says, you know what, I think I'll rather stand, after Bliss offered him a seat. Orton said he wasn't surprised by his victory, and he asked Bliss if Bliss had a surprise for him. We'll talk about that, Earl. Don't worry. We'll talk about that. So, Bliss says, what guest host wouldn't want to have a WWE champion on our show, especially after you and Drew burned the house down? And Orton's like, there it is. Burn the house down. So, Orton says, he knows Wyatt is close. Tell me, Bliss, where is the Fiend? So, Bliss was laughing. Drew McIntyre then came out. His music hit. We had another brawl. Bliss was up on the top turnbuckle, sitting there, laughing. Drew McIntyre was mounting himself for the Claymore until the lights went out. And then the lights then came back on. Randy Orton was on the stage. And Drew McIntyre was in the ring. We then had the Fiend appearing behind Randy Orton, but Orton didn't turn all the way around, but he knew he was there. And Randy Orton decided, I'll take my chances with Drew. So we had a brawl breaking out between Drew and Orton. The air. I don't understand how anyone could even be remotely invested in a Fiend versus Randy Orton feud. And the reason why is because of the simple fact that you take a look at their previous history when it comes to WWE Championship matches. Do you really want another fucking match for the WWE Championship between The Fiend and Randy Orton after what happened at WrestleMania 33? That terrible fucking match? The build's going to be good. I am not going to knock the build. I'm not going to knock the build, but at the end of the day, the match itself, the in-ring aspect of it, it ain't going to do jack shit. Especially not with what The Fiend has been doing. The Fiend right now is barely hanging on to any relevancy. It's because they added Alexa Bliss to the act. And if you feed The Fiend to Randy Orton, it's going to result in an inevitable loss. It's going to result in a loss because Randy Orton is not losing the WWE Championship. Why would he lose the WWE Championship? Because he is going into a feud with Edge at WrestleMania, and we're going to get Edge Orton for the WWE title at WrestleMania 37. So why the fuck are we even getting this when neither The Fiend nor Randy Orton should be losing? And on top of that, why is Drew McIntyre even back in this scenario? Are you going to do a triple threat match at TLC? That ain't really going to do jack shit either. It doesn't even make any sense. God forbid if we have to see another fucking Randy Orton-Drew McIntyre feud on pay-per-view. You've already run this feud into the fucking ground ever since SummerSlam ended. And the only reason why you continued the feud with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton is because of the simple fact that you had no other challengers for the WWE Championship. How is it? Here's some right here. How is it that you remember to put Lana through a fucking announce table 6 times within a month, but you can't remember to build up any other credible challengers for the WWE Championship within 3 months? Why not Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton? Why not Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton? They could take a loss. Well, not really. Jeff Hardy can take a loss, but Matt Riddle can't really take a loss. But I would much rather see Matt Riddle and Randy Orton rather than fucking The Fiend and Randy Orton. On top of that, whether or not The Fiend should be feuding with Randy Orton, if you were going to have Randy Orton and The Fiend feud, then it should have been without the championship. If that was the case, Drew McIntyre should have retained at Hell in a Cell. Then you could have built up to Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series. Because let's be quite honest here. Randy Orton and Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, who are we supposed to cheer for? They're two heels. Randy Orton injured Edge all the way back in June, and he's been punting people in the skull all summer. On top of that, Roman Reigns, he has returned, aligning himself with Heyman. He beat down his cousin Jay not once but twice and threatened to disown him if he didn't fall in line. They're two heels. Who are we supposed to cheer for? At least with Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, it would have actually been a lot easier considering that Drew McIntyre is a charismatic babyface and Roman Reigns has this new tribal chief heel gimmick. And I understand your concerns considering their WrestleMania 35 match, but you see, the reason why that match sucked was because of the simple fact that both men were playing shitty characters. Roman Reigns is one of the worst main event babyfaces in the history of the company, and Drew McIntyre at that time was playing a lukewarm heel. He was playing a lukewarm heel that no one really cared about. Plus, it was Roman Reigns' first major singles match back from his battle with leukemia, so obviously it was predictable. No one thought that Roman was going to lose. But now, with this charismatic babyface character and the tribal chief gimmick, it would have actually made for an interesting back and forth. But who are we supposed to cheer for here with Randy Orton and Roman Reigns? If you were going to have The Fiend and Randy Orton feud, it should have been without the championship. But of course, now that you have the championship on Randy Orton, you again have no other credible challengers except for The Fiend and Drew McIntyre because you refuse to build up any credible challengers because you're fucking lazy. But you can remember to put Lana through a table 6 times in a row. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see Lana go through a table every fucking week in the month of November as well. How you doing, Matt Moody? How you doing? There's your Monday Night Raw review. I think I got all my rants out for now. We're almost at 20 likes. I got all my rants out for now, but That's your Monday Night Raw review. We are going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about AEW Dark. Which actually, now let me tell you something. I do not advocate for the 16, 17 match format for AEW Dark. It is fucking overbearing as shit. However, this was actually a very good AEW Dark show. We actually got a lot of decent wrestling on the show. So, we started off with Top Flight. Versus Stu Grayson and Evil Uno of the Dark Order. This was actually a very good tag team match for 7 minutes. Top Flight is actually very, very fun to watch. I am not going to lie. So we had some swift double team moves by Top Flight early on. We had a slingshot drop kick by Darius. We had the Dark Order taking over, spinning Uranagi by Stu Grayson. I love Stu Grayson's spinning Uranagi. We then had a hot tag to Dante. We had a springboard double drop kick, spin kick to Uno. We had a pop-up tornado Hurricane Rana on Grayson, and a somersault Dragon Rana into a frog splash combo on Grayson. But the Dark Order was able to stay alive. We then had a toss powerbomb on Dante and a double tope suicida by Grayson. And then the fatality connects for the win. This was a very good tag team match for only 7 minutes. And the Dark Order looked very, very good. Trust me on that, Matt. I know that the 10-15 match format, I hate it. I hate the 10-15 match format. It should only be about 6-7 matches at most. But for the 2 hours that it was, the 2.5 hours that it was, this was actually a very good show right here. I do not advocate for Dark to be longer than Dynamite. But this is actually a very good show. This is probably the best Dark of the pandemic era. We then had Ricky Starks versus VSK. This was a very standard showcase match for absolute Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks won with the Rochambeau. Of course, Ricky Starks is going to win with the Rochambeau. We got a little mess up with the hair action by Ricky Starks. So Ricky Starks gets the win here against VSK. We then had Lee Johnson and Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal and Lee Johnson putting on a decent little match right here. We had a nasty sidewalk slam. Lee Johnson was actually dropped right on his fucking neck. Looked brutal. That looked brutal there. We then had Lee Johnson trying to roll up Matt Sydal. Sydal with a fisherman buster for a 2. Johnson came back with a suicide dive. He went back into the ring, hit a second suicide dive. Sydal was then caught with a springboard drop kick. We had a Michinoku driver by Sydal for a 2. Sydal with the roundhouse kick, leg trap Russian leg sweep for a 2. Sydal was able to lock in the Cobra clutch, and Sydal gets the tap out win here against Lee Johnson. Lee Johnson, he's great at what he does. Decent little showcase match here for Matt Sydal. I definitely love watching Matt Sydal compete. We then had Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's World Champion, versus Leyla Hirsch. Miro was on commentary for this one. Leyla Hirsch, let me tell you something. Leyla Hirsch is very, very good. She's got a lot of intensity. She's very, very technically sound. And if I was AEW, I would definitely sign Leyla Hirsch. I feel as though with a few more years, she will definitely come into her own, and she could definitely be a great asset to the AEW women's division. This was a damn good women's match right here. So Shida kept the aggression on Hirsch. We had a very stiff backer. These two women were hitting stiff. So they started trading strikes. She got taken out by a tope suicida by Hirsch. We had a double knees and Hardiac arrest by Leyla Hirsch, taking some inspiration from Jeff Hardy right there. We had a modified Devlin side suplex by Leyla Hirsch, but that only got a 2. Shida with the stretch muffler, but Leyla Hirsch was able to reverse it. And then we had a Falcon Arrow after a running knee strike by Shida, and Shida defeats Leyla Hirsch in a damn good women's match right here. And Leyla Hirsch, a very good showcase, and she had another great showcase with Serena Deeb the following night on Dynamite. So, Leyla Hirsch, I would sign Leyla Hirsch. She's great. So we had Jersey Muscle and Danny Limelight versus the Jurassic Express. This was a six-man tag team match. Very standard showcase match for Jurassic Express. Jurassic Express ended up winning. Danny Limelight, he actually got some decent offense in this one, but Marco Stunt was tossed into a Canadian Destroyer, and Marco Stunt gets the pinfall win for the Jurassic Express as they continue their momentum heading into 2021. We then had the Hybrid 2 versus SCU. Unintentional rhyme right there. This is a fairly decent tag team match right here. We actually got some competitive matches on AEW Dark, which I like. So the Hybrid 2 tried to keep Kazarian down. Daniels came in with a springboard elbow, followed up by a springboard leg drop by Kazarian for a 2. We had a spinning roundhouse kick by Evans. Daniels was isolated. We had a hot tag to Kazarian after Daniels fought out of the clutches of the Hybrid 2. We had a slingshot cutter on Angelico, Queen suplex on Evans for 2. We had a slingshot DDT, but Angelico broke that one up. Daniels was then taken out. Daniels then took out Angelico, and we got a small package by Kazarian for the win here. But afterwards, the Hybrid 2 then attacked SCU and dropped Daniels with a back suplex stomp combo and walked off. So obviously, that feud is still not over. We then had Anna Jay versus Catalina Perez. Now, this was a standard showcase match for Anna Jay. Anna Jay is actually really coming into her own. And I really have to give Anna Jay a lot of credit for what she's doing. She is doing a very, very, very good job in this new role. So, Anna Jay, she ended up winning with the Queen Slayer chokehold as Catalina Perez tapped out to Anna Jay. Anna Jay is coming in quite nicely, and I would love to see Anna Jay possibly in the Women's Championship title picture as time goes on. We then had Brandon Cutler versus Peter Avalon. This is a no countouts, no DQ match. There must be a winner, and if you ask me, this was definitely the match of the night, and if you wanted to, you could have ended the show after this match, and quite frankly, I would have ended the show after this match. So we had Cutler diving over the top onto Avalon to start the match. Avalon then tossed Cutler out to the ramp. Avalon jumped off the stage onto Cutler, so they actually went balls to the wall here for 10 minutes. Avalon then brought out a table. Cutler then with a leaping high kick over the top into the ring on Avalon. He then took a plastic garbage can and then put it on Avalon. And then he did a diving elbow drop off the apron to the trash can onto Avalon. We then had Cutler bringing out a table. Avalon then back body dropped Cutler into the table. He threw him back in the ring. That only got a 2 count. Avalon with a crate, a milk crate of books. He then emptied the books out onto the ring. He then went for the martinis, but missed. And then he was then hit with a reverse 1916 by Cutler for a 2. Cutler then pulled out a black bag, and it was full of dice, polyhedral dice, obviously because he plays Dungeons and Dragons. Avalon then went for a Uranagi. He hit a Uranagi on the books, but Cutler was able to kick out. Layla Bates and Avalon then got into an argument, and it ended with Layla Bates slapping Avalon and walking off. So Layla Bates, more likely than not, is going to branch out on her own. Good. The librarian's gimmick sucks. We then had Avalon pulling out some brass knucks. And Avalon then went to hit Cutler with the brass knucks. But then he got back suplexed onto the dice. And I'm guessing that he was a fan of the Randy Orton Mick Foley no holds barred match at Backlash of 2004. And I have a feeling he was taking inspiration from this match because when he did this, he had this face on him that mimicked Randy Orton's face when he was dropped on the tacks by Mick Foley. So if Peter Avalon was trying to mimic that, I actually got to give him credit for that. So he actually did a very good job at mimicking that. It wasn't as bad as tacks, but it must have fucking hurt. I can't imagine landing back first on the dice. I mean, when I step on a Lego, it fucking hurts. So you got to give him credit there. So he got back body dropped, back suplexed onto the dice. That only got a 2. Cutler and Avalon then brawled out onto the apron. Avalon then hit Cutler with the brass knucks, and both men fell through a table. The Young Bucks then came out. Avalon then with Hurricane Rana off the top, but Cutler reversed it into the roll-up, and Cutler finally picks up his first win after they were dragging this out for fucking months. Cutler finally gets the win. Cutler gets his first win in AEW. This is a very, very, very fun match for 10 minutes. The Young Bucks then embraced Brandon Cutler, and that was that. Very, very happy to see Brandon Cutler finally get on. He is very, very, very underrated. I hope to see Brandon Cutler in a more prominent role in 2021 because he has a lot to offer. He's very, very good in the ring. Now, if you wanted to stop watching after that, you could have. After that, we had a standard enhancement match for the Best Friends. We had the Best Friends versus Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. Best Friends, they won with strong 0. That was pretty much that. We then had Brian Cage versus Fuego del Sol. Brian Cage with the Weapon X for the win. He absolutely demolished Fuego del Sol. We had Sean Maluta versus the Dark Order's 10. 10 with the Ripcord Lariat to the back of the neck for the win, and that was that. We then had Ivelisse and Diamante versus Kylan King and Savannah Evans. Diamante and Ivelisse, they actually had a pretty decent showcase right here. This was fairly competitive right here. We had Diamante with a head scissor takedown into the Russian leg sweep. That was a very nice move there by Diamante. Diamante is coming into her own. I got to give credit to Diamante. We then had Ivelisse targeting the leg of Evans. We had a spinning side slam by Evans. Kylan King then tagged in. She got some intense clotheslines and a roundhouse kick. We had a super kick by Ivelisse and then a beautiful code red by Diamante for the win. Aaron Solo versus Sonny Kiss. Sonny Kiss, who gives a fuck? He didn't fuck up in this match, thankfully, but Sonny Kiss is still a waste of space. Sonny Kiss won with a split-legged leg drop. Afterwards, my guy Lance Archer came out, and he just destroyed both men afterwards. Roberts came out, and he stated that whatever he does, whatever Lance Archer does is on Lance Archer. Archer then took the microphone and said, "Moxley, you didn't beat me. You barely survived." He says Eddie Kingston bitched and complained, and now he finally got another title match. Archer says that he'll be watching Full Gear. He'll never stop chasing the title, and the warpath he's about to go. Now, I love this. Listen to this. I love this line right here. He says the warpath he's about to go on will be Wrath of God, Old Testament, biblical. I fucking loved that line. I think I'm going to start using that. I'm definitely going to start using that shit. But that was a great promo by Lance Archer, destroying Sonny Kiss and Aaron Solo. Right use for Sonny Kiss and Aaron Solo because they're nothing but fucking enhancement talents as we speak. We had Nick Kamaroto versus Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs and Kamaroto, they were hitting hard here. This stiff lariat by Kamaroto. We had a spine buster and a frog splash combo by Hobbs for the win, and that was that. And then in the main event, Darby Allin beat Alex Chamberlain with the coffin drop. Afterwards, Starks and Cage, Team Taz, started attacking Allin, but Will Hobbs came out with a steel chair to save Darby Allin, and that was AEW Dark for you. Realistically, they could have ended it after the match between Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon, but they elected to continue it. I'm sorry about the quality. I apologize about that. But that was AEW Dark for you. We got plenty more to talk about. So let me promote it just a little bit more. All right, so that was AEW Dark for you. Really good show, but like I've stated before, they really need to get rid of the 10-15 match format. It really does not do the show any favors. No one can justify AEW Dark being longer than Dynamite. Speaking of Dynamite, we did have AEW Dynamite here, and AEW Dynamite gave you a very, very, very good show here. We had Wardlow and Adam Hangman Page kicking off the show. This was the semi-finals of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. This was a very, very, very good match right here. Wardlow and Page, they brought it to each other in this match. Page tried to use his quickness against Wardlow. Wardlow then speared Page through the barricade. So it was a war right from the beginning. We then had Page on the receiving end of a gut-wrench powerbomb for a 2. Page with a discus elbow. Page then with a cactus clothesline over the top rope. And a beautiful moonsault to the floor, taking out Wardlow. We then had a standing shooting star press, but Wardlow kicked out 1, so he was not having any of it. Wardlow then with a big lariat for 2. The F10 connected, but Page rolled out of the ring. Both men were now on the top, and Page with an avalanche exploder suplex from the top on Wardlow. Wardlow was then hit with the buckshot lariat, but he stayed standing. Wardlow stayed standing. Page was like, fuck this. He had a second buckshot lariat, and Adam Hangman Page advances to Full Gear. He advances to the semifinals in a very good match with Wardlow. This match will only do Wardlow good. Wardlow is definitely going to be a big star in the coming years. Wardlow is going to be a big, big star when the time is right. He is excellent in the ring. He's better than Braun Strowman. I mean, it doesn't really take much to be better than Braun Strowman. It doesn't really take much to outdo the Strowman Express. So, after that, we had a very good match kick off the show. Moxley was then interviewed. Moxley said, on November 7th, it will be personal. AEW has no room for this version of Eddie Kingston. There'll be no excuses when Kingston says, I quit. And then afterwards, we had Kingston versus Matt Sydal. So Kingston took the microphone before his match. He says he's sick and tired of talking, but the world champion ain't here. He says he's going to take out a man who's trying to steal his thunder. Bring out Sydal. Moxley, I hope you're watching. So Eddie Kingston, great fucking promo, as always. I love Eddie Kingston when he's on the microphone. How can you not love Eddie Kingston when he's on the microphone? So we had this match here, and it was actually a damn good match. It was a damn good match for the time that it was given. We had Sydal. Getting shut down by Kingston fairly quickly. Kingston tried to slow the pace down. We had Sydal with a rising knee and a roundhouse kick. Very nice stuff there by Sydal. We had a Frankensteiner off the top by Sydal and a diving Meteora for a 2. Kingston then with the spinning back fist, and he locked in the Bulldog choke for the win. And Eddie Kingston makes Matt Sydal tap out, but he did not let go. And he made Matt Sydal say, I quit. Obviously, this is leading towards the I Quit match at Full Gear. Whether it was the original plan or not for Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley to face To be quite honest, I don't think it was. I think it really just fell in their lap. But regardless, they have been doing a great job building up Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, playing up to both men's strengths. I love what they've been doing. Great stuff right here. So FTR and the Bucks, they were sitting down for an interview. Dax Harwood said that above all dream matches, it is all about being the AEW World Tag Team Champions. And that is why they did what they did last week with the attack on Matt Jackson's knee. Matt Jackson was then questioned when Excalibur asked about their new attitude, their new behavior. Matt said something was missing. An edge was missing. The moment that these pricks started manipulating our friends, boom, the old Young Bucks are back. FTR then walked off in a fit of anger because obviously Excalibur was just talking to the Young Bucks. And he said, hey, we'll see you at Full Gear. You don't need us for this interview. And Matt said, and this was the kicker here, Matt said if they don't win at Full Gear, they will never challenge for the AEW World Tag Team titles again. The stakes could not be any higher. And you know, if they go the Cody route here, so be it. If they go to the Cody route here, so be it. Cody is pretty much TNT Championship title bound for life. Cody's pretty much TNT title bound for life. He's not going to win the World Championship. He made that sacrifice. And if the Young Bucks make that sacrifice to try and get others over, you have to fucking respect that. If the Young Bucks lose at Full Gear and they do not challenge for the titles anymore, you cannot deny the fact that the Young Bucks and the Elite altogether have been the most selfless individuals ever since the start of AEW. Anyone who denies that by now is just a delusional fucking asshole. And trust me, there are a lot of delusional fucking assholes in the community, and that's the reason why I have no respect for anyone. I don't respect anybody. And it will remain that way until people start acting like me. Until people start acting smart. Until people get on my fucking level. So then after that, we had the Inner Circle town hall meeting moderated by Dasha and Shivani. So they introduced MJF in the Inner Circle. So Luchasaurus asked MJF a question, very, very professional. MJF showed a chart created by specialist, quote-unquote specialist. Obviously, it wasn't created by specialist, but he showed a chart showing the Inner Circle's earnings rising as soon as he becomes a member. So Britt Baker asked Jericho how he feels knowing that MJF has a poor friendship history. Jericho says that he's not a dipshit like Cody. MJF says that he's not going to turn on him. He says that there's a whole lot of green and there's a whole lot of gold when you get MJF in the Inner Circle. So Avalon then came up. He asked if he could join the Inner Circle. Jericho says no chance. Eric Bischoff then came out. And he asked MJF, what can he do for the Inner Circle? MJF said, friendship. Bischoff asked if it was that he believes makes him a total package, and he asked if he could point out a flaw. MJF says that his main flaw is that he is not the best team player, but he can learn how to be. Bischoff then called Jericho a prima donna, which I was waiting for. So he called Jericho a prima donna. Shivani told Jericho to shut up while he was talking. He called MJF a prima donna. And then he asked, what happens if MJF and Jericho end up turning on each other? So MJF says that what hasn't he done to prove that he's worthy of joining the Inner Circle? And Jericho said, you haven't beaten me. So he goes, at Full Gear, I'm going to give you the chance. If he beats him, he joins the Inner Circle. MJF says that he'll do anything to win. Ortiz then took the microphone and told MJF to shut up. Ortiz says that me and Sammy, we don't want you in the inner circle. Now, you see, Santana's kind of on the fence about it. Jake's getting ready for a fight, but we don't want you in the inner circle. So you know what? Next week, me and Sammy versus you and Wardlow, and you ain't even going to make it to the pay-per-view. So we get that match next week. This was fucking great. I expected a match to come out of this program, and you know something? This is the perfect bounce back for MJF after his loss against Jon Moxley at All Out. This is going to be a great match. This is going to be a very, 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 very entertaining match. This is going to be a very nice bounce back for MJF. I see MJF winning this, and I see MJF joining the inner circle. Because he's better than you. And you know it. Anyway. We had Cody versus Orange Cassidy in a lumberjack match for the TNT Championship. Now, I understand the concerns. Of the community saying that, oh, the lumberjack match sucks and Orange Cassidy deserves better. Why is he on the pre-show against John Silver? I understand that. Now, the in-ring aspect, the in-ring back and forth between Cody and Orange Cassidy was very good. The lumberjack stipulation is just fucking terrible. Trust me, I understand that. The lumberjack situation really hampered down the show because it's just all the same. It really is just all the same. So, I did not like the lumberjack situation. The in-ring aspect between Cody and Orange Cassidy was very good, but if we're going to be quite honest here, the best route for Orange Cassidy as far as Full Gear goes, I'm not even complaining about the match at Full Gear between Orange Cassidy and John Silver. I'm not even complaining about that specifically because of the fact that I would much rather have Orange Cassidy in a match where he's going to win on pay-per-view rather than have him in a big-time match only to have him lose. Because if he's in this triple threat match with Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, and Cody, then he's going to lose. Cody's not losing the TNT Championship. They still got loose ends to tie up with Brody Lee. And Brody Lee has not been seen in a long, long time. Brody Lee hasn't been seen since the dog collar match. So you know that Brody Lee's coming back for his rematch. When that is, I don't know. But he's going to come back for his rematch. And he is going to, more likely than not, beat Cody. So why would you want to have Orange Cassidy in a big-time matchup if he's just going to lose? He's not losing that TNT Championship at Full Gear. I can't see him losing. Could they pull the shock value and have Darby Allin win the championship? Possibly. But right now, I don't see that. The in-ring aspect between Cody and Orange Cassidy was very good. But the lumberjack stipulation is just absolutely fucking outdated. And if there's one match that I would just completely retire altogether, it would be the lumberjack stipulation. And it would be the... What other thing? I would retire the lumberjack stipulation, and I would retire one other match stipulation. I think I'd probably retire the... What else? Maybe the Battle Royal stipulation. I guess. But as far as the lumberjack match stipulation, it really doesn't do anything. So, we had a very technical start here. Cody with the leg wrench, the dragon screw on Cassidy. Cassidy came back with a nice crossbody. Cody was then called the swinging DDT, but Cassidy only got a 2. The lumberjack started brawling. Typical lumberjack shit. Cody then superplexed Cassidy into the lumberjacks. We had a Cody cutter for a 2. Super kick by Cassidy and a clothesline by Cody. Stun Dog Millionaire. And then a diving DDT. Beach break connects, but Cody was able to kick out. And then John Silver entered the ring with a punt kick to Orange Cassidy. And then we had Cody tossing him out. Crossroads connects, and Cody retains the TNT Championship. And then afterwards, the Gun Club came out, and they fought off the Dark Order as Darby Allin looked on. Hey, Jess is still here. I thought you left. So, after that, we then had Miro. Miro and Kip then attacked the Best Friends in the back. Miro said he'll never forgive you, obviously, from destroying the game console. So obviously, we're probably going to look at the Best Friends versus Miro and Kip Sabian at Full Gear, which I don't mind. The feud is fucking stupid. YouTube may be glitchy today. Yeah, tell me about it. But I'm guessing that we're going to get Miro and Kip versus the Best Friends at Full Gear. Shouldn't be too bad. Oh, by the way, Jess, I gave you my number. You still haven't texted. Text me. What the hell are you doing? Anyway. We then had Serena Deeb versus Layla Hirsch. Layla Hirsch with yet another damn good performance here. This was for the NWA Women's World Championship. Serena Deeb, of course, beat Thunder Rosa to win the championship. This was a damn good women's match right here. Layla Hirsch with the double knees and cardiac arrest drop kick in the corner for a 2. We then had Deeb with a hangman's neck breaker. Hirsch came back with some stiff knee strikes and a German suplex to Deeb. Hirsch then missed the moonsault. Then had a fisherman's neck breaker and a tequila sunrise. And Layla Hirsch taps out. Serena Deeb wins here. This is a damn good women's match. I hope Serena Deeb continues to have a showcase here on All Elite Wrestling, and I do hope we continue to get NWA women showcased on All Elite Wrestling. I would love to see a partnership with the NWA and All Elite Wrestling. I think that would be a great way to expand both companies. So then we had Hikaru Shida in the back, and she accepted Nyla Rose's challenge for Full Gear, so we are getting the Women's World Championship match between Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose. Shawn Spears was then facing off against BSK. We had a C4 for the win in 8 seconds, and then we had someone throwing candy at Spears. It turned out to be Scorpio Sky, and then Scorpio Sky came in with a TKO. And then Scorpio Sky and Shawn Spears was made for next week. I thought it was actually going to be on the buy-in for Full Gear, but they made Orange Cassidy versus John Silver for the buy-in. Next week, we're going to have Miro versus Trent. Jericho will be on commentary, and we're going to have Cody and the Gun Club versus the Dark Order. And then in the main event of AEW Dynamite, we had Penta El Cero Miedo. Little ring showcase right there. I cannot but showcase it off. I mean, it's fucking great. It's fucking great. I'm a fucking stud. So we had Penta El Cero Miedo versus Kenny Omega. This was the second semifinal match of the World Title Eliminator Tournament. Penta with a beautiful Tope Con Hero going into commercial. Kenny Omega took over control with a Hurricane Rana and a beautiful Tope Con Hero to the floor. We had a punt kick and a springboard sling blade by Penta. Swift moves there by Penta. We had a Tree of Woe double stomp by Penta for a 2. Snapdragon suplex by Omega. A second Snapdragon suplex by Omega. And then we had Penta getting caught with a powerbomb and a V-trigger combo, but he was able to kick out. We had another V-trigger combination. Penta then caught the third V-trigger, and Penta went up to the top, and he was on the top with Kenny. Penta with a diving Canadian destroyer to Kenny on the ramp. Looked fucking brutal. Kenny sold the shit out of it. Penta then rolled Kenny back into the ring, hit the package pile driver, but Omega kicked out at 2. Kenny then reversed the pump handle driver, but Penta with an enziguri. Kenny with the one winged angel attempt, but Penta with the arm cruncher. Kenny then fought through the pain. We had a super kick by Penta. Rising knee strike by Omega. One winged angel, and Omega wins the match. Omega's going to Full Gear. We get Omega and Paige at Full Gear. This was a fucking excellent match here between Kenny Omega and Penta El Cero Miedo. Layered parallel syndrome. Layered parallel syndrome. It's nice of you to join, my friend. Nice of you to join. I'm glad that you noticed my costume. MDJF. You damn right. You damn right. Please hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. But Dynamite, very, very, very good show. They hit a home run here, and next week we got the Go Home show. Full Gear is looking stacked, and it could be one of the best shows, if not the best AEW pay-per-view of the year. Very much looking forward to that. We then have NXT Halloween Havoc. NXT Halloween Havoc. This was a fantastic show. This is a fantastic show from start to finish. If you guys have not gone out of your way to watch NXT Halloween Havoc, I strongly urge you to do so. It wasn't a perfect show. We still had some questionable decisions, some decisions that didn't really make any sense. But at the end of the day, we got a fantastic NXT Halloween Havoc. Great, great, great stuff here. We got some great fucking matches. And to be quite honest, it was actually better than NXT TakeOver In Your House and NXT TakeOver 30. I'm going to be quite honest with you. So we kicked off the show with Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship. This was a Devil's Playground match, pretty much just a Falls Count Anywhere match. We actually had an actual guitarist playing in Damian Priest. So we had an actual guitarist playing Damian Priest's theme song, which was actually fucking great. So if you want to make Damian Priest into a superstar, then there you go right there. That was a great, great, great entrance for Damian Priest. Great stuff right there. I loved it. We then had Johnny Gargano coming out. He popped an inflatable pumpkin. So he apparently hates pumpkins and wheels. So Gargano brought out a kendo stick. Damian Priest brought out a nightstick. So he was actually paying tribute to Sting, was Damian Priest. There were a lot of great tributes here on Halloween Havoc. So he was paying tribute to Sting. We had Gargano sending Priest face first into a chair. We had a standing sliced bread on the steel steps, which looked brutal. We had Priest with a broken arrow to Gargano on the announce table. Then they started to brawl into the catering area. Gargano then used a janitor's crate against Damian Priest. He started hitting Priest with anything that he could find. They brawled onto the Halloween platform that Shotzi Blackheart was on. And then Priest got super kicked and then bashed with a trash can. Priest was then going for the razor's edge, but a person in a scream mask then ambushed Damian Priest. That was actually supposed to be Indy Hartwell. Now, more likely than not, it'll probably end up being revealed to be Indy Hartwell. Gargano then took advantage. He was then handed a tombstone, and he smashed the tombstone over Damian Priest's neck. And Damian Priest was then sent off the platform through a haunted house setup. And he just crashed into the haunted house. He was just laying there motionless. Gargano then went over, covered him, and Gargano wins the North American Championship. Gargano becomes the first ever two-time North American champion in the history of NXT. Now, this was a very, very, very good match. Damian Priest and Johnny Gargano, absolutely fucking great. They burned the house down. Not as good as the main event, because the main event was fucking fantastic, which we'll talk about, but this was a very good match, but I don't understand why Gargano needed to win. Here's something that a lot of people really aren't talking about. And the fact of the matter is that Finn Balor, more likely than not, he's coming back. Finn Balor's not going to have to relinquish the NXT Championship. Finn Balor is going to be back by the end of November. He's going to be back by the December 6th TakeOver. which more likely will be NXT TakeOver War Games, right? So, if you take a look at the landscape of NXT right now, there's really not many main event stars for Finn Balor to face outside of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. You're really going to have Kushida face off against Finn Balor, unless you could do that. You could do that, but at the end of the day, Kushida's not going to win the championship. Bronson Reed's not ready. Dexter Lumis isn't ready. Unless you're going to do Cameron Grimes, which obviously that's not the case since he lost the Haunted House of Terror match to Dexter Lumis. You're not going to do Damian Priest because I don't think that Damian Priest and Gargano are finished here. But Gargano is above the North American Championship. Gargano is not in a scenario where he should be winning a championship. The only championship that Gargano should be winning would be the NXT Championship, and that would obviously be at WrestleMania 37 weekend, because right now, who do you have? You're probably going to get Tommaso Ciampa and Finn Balor at the December 6th TakeOver, and Finn Balor's going to have a successful title defense there. Fine. And then you could possibly do another interim opponent. But ultimately, Johnny Gargano and the Gargano Way would be your biggest match for WrestleMania weekend in March. And Gargano becomes a two-time NXT champion. The Gargano Way could result in an NXT championship title win instead of a measly North American championship title win, because Gargano realistically is above the North American championship. And on top of that, how can you justify Damian Priest losing the North American championship after 67 days? Damian Priest has been one of the biggest breakout stars in WWE ever since the start of the pandemic era. Great match with Keithley, great match with Finn Balor. He won the title at NXT TakeOver 30. Great match with Gargano, and here's another great match with Gargano. So why are you going to take the title off him when he barely even got his feet wet as North American champion? Priest shouldn't have been losing the North American Championship until next year, unless you're going to do Gargano versus someone like a Dexter Lumis or a Cameron Grimes to help get them over. But at this rate, you don't even need Johnny Gargano to help get them over. Damian Priest is great in his own right. Gargano, he's got bigger fish to fry. And on top of that, this didn't even make any sense considering what happened in the main event. This didn't make any sense considering what happened in the main event, which we'll talk about. This is a very good match, don't get me wrong. I love this match. I don't think anyone is going to shit all over the match, but if we're talking about in terms of an outcome, this was the wrong outcome. So now what are you going to do with Finn Balor? What are you going to do when Finn Balor is cleared and after he eventually faces off against Tommaso Ciampa and he beats Tommaso Ciampa? What are you going to do then? You don't really have anybody unless you're going to do Kushida, which I don't think they're going to do. Very good match. Very good match. Wrong winner. And I'm not sure if you guys feel this way too, but I can't help but get this feeling like they just did this title change for the shock and awe factor. They just did this title change for the simple fact of them trying to generate interest, trying to generate some type of unpredictability factor for NXT. They're like, oh, hey, look, we had an unpredictable title change last week, and this week we have another unpredictable title change. You got to be watching NXT. This is what you're missing if you're watching NXT. You're missing these unpredictable title changes. And doing unpredictable title changes, doing title changes for the simple sake of trying to draw ratings, that ain't. Very good match. Wrong winner. And I really hope that they don't just do these unpredictable title changes just for the sake of winning. Just for the sake of winning in the ratings. I mean, they won in the ratings this week, but that's because they had the fucking Halloween Havoc. So then we had Pat McAfee and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch coming out. Pat McAfee wished everyone a happy Halloween Havoc. He bragged about his debut and says that these stooges can agree that he had a great debut, which he did. So he complained that Cole didn't come over and congratulate him and show him respect. Instead, he walked out of the ring on his private jet, and he thought how big of a bum Adam Cole really was. He says that he called up Ridge Holland and gave him a Mercedes in order to have him dump Cole's lifeless body over the barricade at NXT TakeOver 31. So then Holland fractured his leg, and Pat McAfee was thinking to himself, did I go too far? Then he reached out to Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and they rejected. After the UE beat them, they had second thoughts. So the UE then came out. Well, O'Reilly did. Kyle O'Reilly then came out. Pete Dunne's music hit, and Pete Dunne came out with chairs. Pete Dunne then cracked O'Reilly with a chair, and Lorcan and Burch beat down O'Reilly. And Dunne has officially turned heel, and he aligned himself with Pat McAfee, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Pat says they're the new kings of the brand, and that is undisputed. Pat McAfee's a good promo. He's a very good promo. Don't get me wrong. Pat McAfee's a very good promo. Pat McAfee is very, very good at being a dick. I'm not denying that. But it still doesn't make any sense that Pat McAfee would come back and try and exact his revenge on Adam Cole. Because at the end of the day, whether you want to admit it or not, it doesn't make any sense because the feud's over. The feud's over. The feud is gone. And it was a one-and-done deal. Now, I understand if you want to do War Games. I understand if you want to do War Games. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I don't like about this, and the one thing that is the glaring issue, is the fact that you gave Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch the NXT Tag Team Championships just for the simple fact of giving them the tag team titles. And I don't even think that they have any legit plans for them. I don't even think they have any legit plans for him. That is why, if you wanted to have Pat McAfee return, you could have had Pat McAfee and Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch cost the Undisputed Era the tag team championships. Breezango would still be the tag team champions. And then you can have Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Then they go into War Games on the 6th of December, which I believe that's when the next takeover is going to be. And you can have them go on the 6th of December with the Undisputed Era and have a War Games match. But as far as the NXT Tag Team titles go, I don't understand why you needed to give Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch the Tag Team Championships. If you wanted to turn them heel, fine. I'm not even that mad that they turned heel, to be quite honest with you. And to be quite honest with you, you can clearly tell that Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, clear-cut plan B. Clear-cut plan B as far as the Pat McAfee story goes. So I'm not necessarily mad that they're doing a War Games. I'm not necessarily mad that Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch have turned heel, but if you were going to execute this, it could have been done a hell of a lot better, and it didn't need to be done at the expense of Breezango and their NXT Tag Team Championship reign. It really didn't. Help me get 30 likes. I need 6 more. Help me get to 30 likes. We got plenty of more time left in the stream. We got at least an hour left in the stream. So that was pretty much that. I don't necessarily mind Pete Dunne's heel turn. I don't mind the heel turn with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I don't even mind the partnership with Pat McAfee. I really don't. If it results in a War Game, so be it. I really don't mind. I just don't like the fact that they had to give Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch the tag team championships just for the sake of giving them the titles. It was unnecessary. So we then had William Regal and Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, and I'm going to the moon. That Cameron Grimes. So we had Cameron Grimes being led out to the parking lot by William Regal, and there was a van in the parking lot to take him to the Haunted House of Terrors match. So we had Michael P.S. Hayes coming out of the the van to greet Cameron Grimes. Bad Street, Atlanta GA, is playing in the background. Cameron Grimes goes, "I hate rednecks." So obviously that's a shot at him because he's a fucking redneck. So then Cameron Grimes was taken to the Haunted House of Terrors match. We then had a match between Santos Escobar and Jake Atlas. Enough with the tables match. So, Santos Escobar and Jake Atlas. Santos Escobar and Jake Atlas. This is a fairly decent match. Really nothing too special here. The main focus of this match was the fact that Santos Escobar had Rey Mysterio inspired Halloween Havoc gear, which looked great. So I got to give props to Escobar right there. That was great stuff. A lot of great tributes here on Halloween Havoc. So that's something that you really gotta acknowledge there. So Atlas showed a lot of aggression. We had a swift German suplex and a rainbow DDT, but Mendoza put put Escobar's foot on the rope. Atlas then with a tope taking out Mendoza and Wilde. But the ref was distracted, and Mendoza with a lucha mask headbutt. And then Escobar hit a butterfly shoulder blaker. A butterfly shoulder blaker. Butterfly shoulder breaker for the win. And we had Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma standing tall. So, Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis, Haunted House of Terror match. So, Cameron Grimes was taken to this undisclosed house. Now, let me tell you something. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I thought I was going to hate this shit. I thought that we were going to get a Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt swamp fight-like match, and it was going to be disappointing, and it was going to be shitty, and it was going to be completely lackluster, and they weren't even going to go all in on it. But I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact, it was two things. It was the fact that Dexter Lumis is fucking great, and the fact that Cameron Grimes and his screaming and his overacting made this shit 1,000 times more entertaining than it was. I was laughing my ass off during this. And I'm not sure if he does this. Hey, Jess, if you can ask Casey, I want to know if Cameron Grimes, if he actually acts like that, or if he does this shit on purpose just to make people laugh. I think it's the latter. There's no way that he really talks like that. There's no way that he really acts like that. I'd love to know if he does this shit on purpose. But his overacting made this shit 1,000 times more entertaining than it really was. So, Grimes, he was taken to this undisclosed house. He was obviously scared. So he goes, "Dexter, I'm coming for you." So he gets scared because there was like a rocking chair outside. So Casey was in the... Casey was one of those zombies? Casey was one of those zombies. So he saw a rocking chair and he gets scared of it. And he's like, "Dexter, it's going to take a lot more than that to scare Cameron Grimes." So he's walking into the house. Lumis was in a fucking tree. Lumis was in a tree watching him. So he goes into... She was the zombie on the fridge. Get the fuck out of here. That's fucking awesome. That is fucking awesome, man. So Grimes is going through the house, and he's like, Loomis. So Loomis is following him. So a ref scared him. Loomis then broke down the door. And then Grimes smashed him into a clock and then locked himself into a room. So Grimes is screaming. Like a girl. Loomis broke down the door, and then he found himself in a bathroom. So there was a woman taking a shower in the bathroom. There was a woman taking a shower in the bathroom, and he's like, oh, hello there. Oh, well, I'm feeling a little grimy myself. Make room for Cameron Grimes. So he removes the curtain, and it's a fucking, like, it's an exorcist zombie. It's an exorcist zombie-like woman. So Grimes starts screaming. He's like, I've had enough with this house. I've had enough with this house. So then Grimes ran out. He's in, like, this sanctioned-off room. And then Loomis comes through the fucking window, puts him in a chokehold, comes through the window, and I can see Loomis doing that, so it fit his character perfectly. So Grimes then with a roundhouse kick, and he says he's going to end Loomis, and then these zombie feral children started swarming Cameron Grimes. One of them, which apparently was Casey, jumped on Cameron Grimes. He threw her into the yard, and then he turned around, and all these zombies into the van. Loomis is in the van. Loomis is in the fucking van, and then he runs away screaming into the night. And it says, to be continued on the screen. I laughed my ass off. I was laughing my fucking ass. I don't know how the fuck this guy does it without laughing. I don't know how Dexter Loomis kept a straight face throughout this entire shtick. Dexter Loomis kept a straight fucking face throughout this entire fucking thing. He did not break character once. And I swear to God, Cameron Grimes, he did his best to make Dexter Loomis break character, but he did not break character. So I gotta give Cameron Grimes a lot of credit there. But this was extremely, extremely entertaining. This was fucking hilarious. I loved it. We then had Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez. These two women were hitting hard, obviously. And we had some stiff strikes, some stiff kicks, stiff clotheslines. We had a big drop kick from Ripley. Ripley went for the cannonball off the apron, but she was caught by Raquel Gonzalez, and then Raquel Gonzalez powerbombed her. Raquel Gonzalez powerbombed her into the chain, which looked brutal. So then coming back from commercial, we had Raquel Gonzalez trying to wear down Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley came back with a basement drop kick. Gonzalez with a spinning power slam for a 2. Gonzalez then tossed Ripley off the top to the mat. Ripley still stayed alive. We then had Ripley with a Hurricane Rana to Gonzalez into the buckle. Gonzalez went face first into the buckle, and then Gonzalez was then hit with the Riptide, and Raquel Gonzalez loses. Rhea Ripley defeats Raquel Gonzalez. And let me tell you something. I have been hard on Raquel Gonzalez, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because she really doesn't offer anything. It's beyond me where Raquel Gonzalez is even on television. She's like the female Braun Strowman, but Rhea Ripley, I gotta give her credit. Rhea Ripley led Raquel Gonzalez to actually a damn good women's match. This was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and Rhea Ripley gets the win. Rightfully so. And if anything, Rhea Ripley should be the next challenger for the NXT Women's Championship, which more likely than not will take place on December 6th at a TakeOver. So, we go to the outside. Now, the Haunted House of Terrors match is still going on. So, we go to the outside. Cameron Grimes, he's running down the road. He gets back into Full Sail. He gets back into the Capitol Wrestling Center. And then he's laying in the graveyard setup. in the Capitol Wrestling Center, right? He looks up and a zombie's there. And he's like, no, please, we're not at the house anymore. So he's backing up. The zombies are swarming him. He's like, please, stop. I'm Cameron Grimes. You better stop. Yeah, like telling him you're Cameron Grimes is gonna tell him to stop. So he's just overselling the shit out of this. I'm Cameron Grimes. You better stop. You better stop. So he's overselling the shit out of this. I'm laughing my ass off. I cannot keep a straight face. I'm laughing my ass off. He gets into the ring. Dexter Lumis is behind him. He takes advantage. The zombies then start crawling into the ring. One of them took the cave-in. One of them took the fucking cave-in. We then had Lumis. He had a zombie on his shoulders. And what was it? And Cameron Grimes was like, Lumis, I'm sorry, Lumis. And then Lumis, he didn't care. He tossed the zombie at Grimes and then locked in the silence. And then Grimes faded away. And that was that. And it was actually a lot more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. This was actually great stuff. And Cameron Grimes, he's a great fucking wrestler. Let me tell you something. He's a great fucking wrestler. He can wrestle his ass off. He's put on great matches with Gargano and Matt Riddle and Finn Balor and Keithley and Nia. But at the end of the day, the money in Cameron Grimes is going to be in his entertainment value. Because that was fucking hilarious. The shit that he was doing with Dexter Lumis here, hilarious shit. And I'm telling you, Cameron Grimes, the more that he does that, that's what's going to get him over in the end. That's definitely what's going to get him over in the end. Great stuff right there from Cameron Grimes. So Tommaso Ciampa was in the back. He was in the back, and he says that he doesn't recognize the culture of NXT. Excuse me one second. He says he doesn't recognize the culture of NXT. He says that this ain't Monopoly. We ain't taking turns. Everyone has the same message. Glass ceiling, brass ring. This tweet will spark up the conversation. I was simply undeniable. Tommaso Ciampa was NXT until fate took that away. Now he's going to take it back. Velveteen Dream, it begins with you next week. You hit me with a cast, shame on you. You hit me with a cast twice, you're a dead man. So obviously we got Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream next week, as well as Dakota Kai and Ember Moon. That should be great. We then had Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. This was a tables, ladders, and scares match. Tables, ladders, and scares match. And this was a fantastic fucking match. Candice and Io, I love watching these two. I could watch these two wrestle all year long. They have great chemistry together. Love what they can do. So they brought out the weapons pretty early. LeRae used the ladder against Shirai. LeRae then whacked Io in the face with a laptop. LeRae then dropped the ladder between a couple of tables in the ring. We had Shirai making a bed of steel chairs for Candice. We then had a suplex onto the floor. A couple of tables were being set up as well as ladders. Shirai then with a moonsault, but LeRae moved. Shirai then landed on the bed of chairs onto the chair that was set up. That looked brutal there. Io then kneed the ladder by mistake. Candice then moved out of the way. Io then with a dragon screw leg whip into the chair. Looked great. That looked brutal there. Loved that spot right there with Io and Candice. We then had Candice LeRae hitting a swinging neck breaker off the apron through the tables, and then the figure in the Scream mask resurfaced. Once again, I believe that was supposed to be Indy Hartwell. So then we had the Scream figure trying to help out Candice LeRae, right? The Scream figure's trying to help out Candice LeRae. Scream figures trying to push Candice LeRae up the ladder. And we then had Shotzi Blackheart coming out and dropping the person in the Scream mask. And then Candice LeRae was then shoved off the ladder through a ladder set up between the apron and the table. And Candice LeRae, she's got some balls to take that spot. Candice LeRae, she's the perfect embodiment of what a women's wrestler should be. That was fucking brutal. So Candice LeRae crashed through the ladder, and Io Shirai climbed and retained the championship. I don't understand, though. If you were going to have Gargano win, why didn't Candice LeRae win here? Doesn't really make any sense. Take your time, Danielle. But I really don't understand. I really don't understand. If you were going to have Gargano win the championship, then why didn't Candice LeRae win the championship? And it only pretty much validates my point, the fact that they only did that. They did that for the simple fact that they want to create some type of unpredictability factor for NXT. And I don't like the fact that they just do the title change for the sake of doing a title change. That ain't right. That ain't right. But regardless of that, it was still a very, very, very good show. It was a great show. Fantastic show for NXT. I do hope they continue that momentum. I do hope they continue to build up the momentum and generate the interest back in NXT. I really do hope that they stop with the swift title changes just for the sake of doing it, because it really doesn't do anything. Matter of fact, it devalues the championship and the person holding it. So enough with the short title changes. But regardless, great show. If you haven't watched it, please go out of your way to watch it. Moving on to NXT UK. Thank you all for sticking with me. We got 3 more shows to dissect, and trust me, then we'll get out of here. Then you can enjoy your Halloween. So, bear with me. So, NXT UK was actually a damn good show here. And we had a lot of material with the undercard, but the main story here was Ilya Dragunov and Walter, which we'll talk about. But Eva Valkyrie versus Dani Luna. We had another showcase match for the women here. Valkyrie with a springboard crossbody and a Pele kick for a 2. Luna with the snap German suplex and vertical suplex for a 2. We had a spin kick. By Valkyrie, and then the diving axe kick for the win. Eva Valkyrie gets the win. Eva Valkyrie, she is someone to keep an eye on, and she is definitely your next NXT UK Women's Champion. We have a guy named Rampage Brown. He's coming to NXT UK. That should be interesting. So we had Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster in the ring. Eddie Dennis then interrupted Andrews mid-sentence. Andrews says that he doesn't trust him. He's known him for 15 years. Yeah, no trick-or-treaters by me either. So, Dennis called Mark Andrews a narcissist. Webster says Dennis is talking out of his ass. Webster was told by Dennis that Andrews had more to lose. So then Pretty Deadly then came out. Webster says they got friends too. The Hunt then came out. Dennis says, you never listen. I said, keep your friends close. And then the Hunt ended up turning heel, and they attacked Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, and Dennis made Andrews watch as the Hunt dropped Webster where he stood. So this really wasn't all that exciting. The Hunt being revealed really wasn't all that exciting. But, oh my God, Jess. Of course you're going to stock up on something. Everyone loves to stock up on Halloween candy for themselves. I may be working tomorrow. If I'm working tomorrow, I'll let you know if I'm working tomorrow. But you got to send me a text. I will text you if I'm working tomorrow. And if I am, I'll let you know, and that way you can pay me a visit tomorrow. You can try and get me fired. Actually, don't get me fired. I don't have any Skittles for you, Danielle. My God. So, the Hunt was revealed as the attackers. Send them to her. She lives in upstate New York. She lives in upstate New York. I'll see you tomorrow, Jess. So, again, not really all that exciting, but I'm glad that it gives the hunt. I'm glad FedEx. You can't handle me because I'm better than you, and you know it. So again, not really all that exciting. Not really all that exciting for the hunt, but I'm glad that they have a sense of direction. I'm glad that they have a sense of direction, and I really do hope that this partnership with Eddie Dennis is really going to go somewhere. We'll see where it goes. Sam Gradwell is actually back in NXT. Pretty deadly. They want a shot at Gallus' NXT Tag Team titles. Next week, we actually got Gallus versus Sam Gradwell and Pretty Deadly. And we also got the semifinals of the UK Heritage Cup tournament. We got Noam Dar and A-Kid. We then had Jordan Devlin versus Levi Muir. Devlin, very methodical against Muir, very fluid. Love the fact that Jordan Devlin is back. Jordan Devlin is fucking great. Jordan Devlin is an absolute megastar. Great to see Jordan Devlin back in NXT UK. He took the mic and he said that this is a message to the Cruiserweight division. The real champion is back. You want your shot, you come here, but you never bet against an ace. And I won't be betting against Jordan Devlin. I'll be betting on Jordan Devlin because he's fucking great. The main event, the match that a lot of people were talking about. You got a package coming for me. You got a package coming for me. Unbelievable. I love my fans. I really do love my fans on here. I really do. But anyway, Ilya Dragunov versus Walter. This was for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. This was an absolute fucking war. For 25 minutes, these two beat the shit out of each other. These two beat the ever-living shit out of each other. And I'm telling you, if this was in front of an arena full of fans, this would be looked at as the match of the fucking year. This was fucking excellent. If you have not seen this, please go out of your way to watch this match. Ilya Dragunov and Walter absolutely killed it. So they went hard right out of the gate. Stiff strikes and chops and kicks. Dragunov hit a senton immediately. Walter then with a sleeper suplex right on Dragunov's neck. Looked fucking brutal. So we then had Walter targeting the neck of Dragunov. Walter didn't give a shit. He was chopping the shit out of Dragunov. We then had Dragunov with not one, not two, but three German suplexes, followed up by two enziguris and a teardrop suplex for a two. Dragunov with the 6-1 line, but Walter kicked out. Walter then continued to chop and slap Dragunov. He kept pulling him up just to slap him down again. Walter was a fucking merciless savage in this one. Dragunov then started headbutting and chopping Walter. Dragunov with the coast-to-coast drop kick, but Walter kicked out. Dragunov with the Gotch Exploder. Walter still stayed alive. We had a Torpedo Moscow to the back of the neck, but Dragunov could not capitalize. We had a jumping knee strike. Walter still kicked out. Walter then with a boot to Dragunov into the steps, and then a powerbomb on the apron. Walter then with the diving splash. This is the same move that beat Pete Dunne for the UK Championship all the way back in April of 2019, but Dragunov still stayed alive. Walter locked in a sleeper suplex, and Dragunov passed out. Walter retains the NXT United Kingdom Championship in an absolute fucking bloodbath of a match. An absolute war. Please go out of your way to watch this match. It was absolutely fucking great. And let me tell you something. I would have given the title to Dragunov because Dragunov, he's a fucking stud. He is great in between those ropes. I would have given the title to Dragunov, but I can't even be mad. I really can't even be mad at this ending. Dragunov absolutely killed it here, and they protected him defeat. He gave you probably the best performance of any superstar in Defeat all year. The only other person that rivaled this performance was Brody Lee in that dog collar match with Cody on Dynamite at the beginning of the month. So at the end of the day, this could very well be a bridge for another match. And if so, I'm not fucking complaining. After a war like that, I'm definitely looking forward to another match between these two. And if we do get another match between these two, considering that Ilya Dragunov did not submit and he wasn't pinned, he passed out, considering we got that, I think that Ilya Dragunov is going to get another match. And I do think that Ilya Dragunov ends up winning the United Kingdom Championship sometime down the line. I can't wait to see another match between these two. Please go out of your way to watch it. It was absolutely fucking phenomenal. An absolute fucking war. You do not want to miss a moment of what NXT UK has got to offer. SmackDown. Why do we only have 24 likes? We need to get to 30 likes. I need you guys to share this shit out and get some more people in here. Come on, it's Halloween. We got about a half hour left in the stream. You guys have stuck with me for so fucking long now. Get this video to 30 likes. Come on. Anyway. So SmackDown. I'm going to be quite honest here. SmackDown actually was not that bad of a show. SmackDown was actually not that bad of a show. I was expecting a lot worse from SmackDown, but SmackDown has actually been fairly bearable as of lately. SmackDown's actually been fairly bearable. Thank you, Mr. Earl Cole. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, they kicked off the show. Jey Uso was already in the ring. Jey Uso ended up taking the mic from Paul Heyman, and he said, "You did not beat me. I wouldn't say I quit. And you ain't that type of person." Roman Reigns, he says, "You can feel any type of way you want, but I was going to make you quit. And I did just that. Now take the oath and fall in line." So Jey Uso said, "You used the only person in the world that I would say I quit for." Roman says, "How could I not? These are the things that you need to do in order to have this," obviously talking about the Universal Championship. "This is the burden of being the face of the WWE. And you saw my dad, you saw my uncle, all the way down to the youngest of the family. They are all behind me. What you gonna do now, Us?" So Jey Uso says, "I hate you. I hate you, man." Roman says, "I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But I love you, Us. But by the end of the night, you will fall in line." This was fucking excellent. Fucking excellent. I fucking love the story that they're telling here. I don't understand how anyone could not love the story that they're doing here. And it only further proves that every single thing that me and everyone else in the community that complained about Roman Reigns and said he should be heel, it proves us all right. And it makes everyone who says that Roman Reigns shouldn't turn heel, and it makes everyone that denied people like me look like a bunch of fucking retards. So at the end of the day, I'm right. It's one of the best storylines. Absolutely, Earl. Absolutely, Earl. So, Earl, as far as you and me for the rundown for Survivor Series, I was actually planning on getting someone else. I was actually planning on offering you a spot on the rundown for the Royal Rumble. That's going to be possibly in January. I was actually offering you a spot for the Royal Rumble. So we can talk about that at a later date. But Survivor Series, I actually had someone in mind. Royal Rumble Sunday is our time. Thank you very much. Alex Legal Research. Thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, bro. So, this was fucking great. This was fucking fantastic. I love what they're doing with Roman and Jey. And by the end of the night, it advanced even further. And by the end of the night, I hope that's a sign of things to come. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what happened in the main segment. So, we then had Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. This was a Survivor Series qualifying match. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Dolph Ziggler, he will always be nothing more than a glorified fucking enhancement talent. He will always be nothing more than a glorified enhancement talent in the eyes of WWE. He's a fucking loser. But this was a damn good match right here with Kevin Owens. Went about 10 minutes. Damn good match for 10 minutes. And Kevin Owens won. So, at the end of the day, I really can't complain too much about this match because it served its purpose. SmackDown was not an overwhelmingly good show, but I respect the fact that they did what they needed to do. And we got a fairly decent match here. So the ref ejected Robert Roode. He threw Owens back into the ring, and the ref caught him, so Robert Roode was ejected. Owens then with a clothesline and a senton. We then had a go-home driver by Owens for a 2. I love the go-home driver. Ziggler then got the knees up on the swanton. Owens then kicked out of the cover at 2. We had a super kick by Owens. This was one of my favorite parts of the match. Owens went for the pop-up powerbomb, but Ziggler reversed it in midair into a famouser, which looked fucking great. They actually have very good chemistry together, do Owens and Ziggler. So we got a pop-up into a famouser, looked great. Back and forth, and we had some back and forth roll-ups. Ziggler was then caught. Owens connected with the stunner, and Owens gets the win. Owens is the first man to advance to Team SmackDown. Damn good match. Owens wins as expected. That's pretty much all I can say. Certainly wasn't the worst thing in the world. Matter of fact, I prefer this match over the majority of things that happened on Raw. We had Lars Sullivan in the back with Graves. He was sitting in the back. Lars was then asked by Corey Graves, what's it like being called a freak? So Lars said, the first time he was called a freak, he was 10 years old. He was on the playground with some brothers called the Tracy Brothers, and they were singing, "Freak Show, Freak Show. Everyone look at the Freak Show." Everyone around him, including the teacher, started laughing. He started crying. But about 20 minutes later, the laughing stopped, and the screams continued for hours. And he says that his hopes are to accomplish making the world his own personal playground and his own personal hell on earth. The first part of this promo, you can clearly tell that the first part of this promo was a product of the show being rewritten about an hour or two before the show, and it really showed. The second half wasn't bad. Trust me when I tell you, I have heard much worse promos, but still, you can clearly tell that the disorganization backstage and the fact that you rewrote the show about an hour before the show, reported by Brian Alvarez, by the way, of Wrestling Observer newsletter, you could tell that this promo was a product of that. I don't know what they were going for here, but it didn't necessarily hurt Lars. It didn't really do him any favors either. It was just kind of there. So I don't know where they're going with Lars. To be quite honest, I would much rather go with the match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, considering that's the best route for probably both men, since Lars and Brock should not be in any championship matches as we speak. So then we had Bianca Belair versus Natalya versus Billie Kay. This was a Survivor Series qualifying match. Billie Kay is a fucking embarrassment of a professional wrestler. I don't know what the fuck Billie Kay has done to even get herself into this business. I swear to God, Billie Kay wrestles like a motherfucking pussy. She wrestles like a pussy. She is legitimately afraid to take a bump. Legitimately afraid to take a bump. What's going on? What's going on? Cool King. How you doing? Please hit that thumbs up. I don't know what the fuck the community sees in Billie Kay, and I saw some people praising Billie Kay on social media. I don't know who finds Billie Kay entertaining, but Billie Kay is one of the worst professional wrestlers. Billie Kay may be worse off than Alexa Bliss, and I don't even believe I'm fucking saying that. I tolerate Alexa Bliss more now than I do Billie Kay. Get Billie Kay. Why was Billie Kay released with the 40, 50 other people on Black Wednesday? The woman is a fucking embarrassment. The woman is a fucking spit in the face to not only women's wrestlers, but wrestlers, period. She is terrible. She is terrible at what she does. The Survivor Series qualifying match, I didn't really give a shit. The fact that Billie Kay's in the ring, I mean, how can anyone give a shit when Billie Kay's fucking wrestling in the ring? But we had a handspring moonsault by Bianca. Natalya, she saved the match. We had a basement dropkick by Natalya. We then had a dual submission on Bianca. She didn't tap. I don't know what the fuck Billie Kay was going for. Billie Kay with probably one of the worst fucking camel clutches that I think I've ever seen. She is fucking terrible. So Natalya broke her submission hold. And she went after Billie Kay. Natalya broke her submission hold. She went after Billie Kay. We then had Billie Kay locking in, or Billie Kay got locked in the sharpshooter. We had Bianca Belair throwing Natalya into the post. And then we had Bianca Belair delivering the KOD. And Bianca Belair qualifies for Survivor Series, rightfully so. Yo, Cool King, if you want to hear my rant about that, just wait till the stream's over, and then you can go back to the Monday Night Raw portion of the LFU. I ranted on that. Oh, by the way, Lana went through a table a sixth time. I'm not sure if you knew. But Bianca Belair qualifies for Survivor Series. I don't give a shit what else happens in the women's division throughout the course of the next few months. This is what needs to be done. Bianca Belair needs to be the sole survivor at Survivor Series. She should win the Survivor Series for her team. Bianca Belair needs to win the Survivor Series for her team, be the sole survivor, use that momentum, carry it into the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble, and beat Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Bianca Belair is your Women's Royal Rumble winner next year. No question about it. There is no one else better than Bianca Belair. Unless you're going to have Sonya Deville come back as a surprise, win the Rumble, and beat Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. But I don't see WWE doing that. So, at this rate, the best option, period, for the Women's Royal Rumble is Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is your sole survivor at Survivor Series for the women's team SmackDown, and she is your Royal Rumble winner. She and Sasha is your WrestleMania match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Plain and simple. Bianca wins the Royal Rumble. End of discussion. So we had Murphy and Aaliyah coming out to the ring. Murphy says he understands why Ray and Dominic despise him. He's not the same person he was, and as a man, he needs to apologize to Ray and Dominic face to face. So then Rollins comes out. He says that Ray and Dominic are never going to forgive you. He says Ray and Dominic won't accept you, but I will. I will forgive you, and I will also embrace this relationship. I accept you, and I also accept you, Aaliyah, because everybody has a place in the greater good. Your father is trying to control you, and Dominic, he's nothing but a coward. So Dominic ended up coming out to attack Rollins. Murphy and Dominic then started brawling. Ray came out. Aaliyah then stopped Rey Mysterio from hitting the 619, and she said, I love him. So Ray and Dominic then walked out as Aaliyah gave Murphy a kiss. And that was the segment. The Mysterio Rollins program, I've said it once and I'll say it again, it needs to absolutely die 1,000 deaths. It needs to absolutely die 1,000 deaths. I don't even know why it's still going on. I don't even know why it didn't just end at Payback. The love angle between Murphy and Aaliyah is completely fucking unnecessary. I don't understand why you didn't build towards Rollins and Murphy at Hell in a Cell on a pay-per-view and you just wasted that away on free television on SmackDown. And listen here. I am not even mad. I'm not even mad with the age difference. That's not what I'm mad about. I don't even give a shit about the fact that she's 19 and he's 32. I don't care. I'm not mad about the age difference. The thing that I'm mad about is the fact that Vince McMahon thinks that General Hospital, Jerry Springer-like drama is going to draw ratings, which it won't. It won't. Get away from this soap opera mentality of pro wrestling and build it like a motherfucking sport. Why do you think that NXT and AEW are so praised? Because they have gotten with the times. Wrestling is not a fucking play. Wrestling is not a fucking soap opera. Wrestling is a sport. Treat it as such and stop with this bullshit General Hospital, Jerry Springer, whatever the fuck you're trying to accomplish here with Aaliyah and Murphy. It's not going to go anywhere, and it's not going to enhance the show, and it's not going to get Buddy Murphy any more over than he already is. You had the opportunity to get Buddy Murphy over as a credible babyface with Rollins, and you didn't do that. Instead, you wasted the match away on free television, and now you're still including the Mysterios in this storyline. Buddy Murphy should realistically be the guy to take the Intercontinental title from Sami Zayn. But instead, you have him in this program with Aaliyah. Whether or not the age difference is a problem, I don't really give a shit about the age difference. I am just sick and tired of this soap opera material infiltrating professional wrestling. It's only done right in certain types of scenarios. What they're doing with Roman and Jay, that's how you do professional wrestling. This ain't. Just end the fucking program. Moving on. We then had the Street Profits versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. For 9 minutes, I'm not going to lie, for 9 minutes, this is actually a very good tag team match. They actually have some decent chemistry. Montez Ford, there was a spot here. Montez Ford took out Shinsuke Nakamura with a tope, and then Cesaro popped Montez Ford, sent him up into orbit over the barricade. Looked fucking ridiculous. Dawkins then made the hot tag. He then had a bulldog to Cesaro. Shinsuke took advantage, hit a rising knee strike to the gut for a 2. We had a gut-wrench powerbomb by Cesaro. Ford saved that match. We had a nice discus lariat by Angelo Dawkins for a 2. And then a tag to Montez Ford. Angelo Dawkins with a superplex to Nakamura and a frog splash by Ford. And Cesaro and Nakamura lose to the Street Profits. I'm actually happy that the Street Profits actually got a win. Champions win. On TV, as they should. Very good tag team match for 9 minutes. I don't really have too much complaints. I actually hope that they actually continue to get behind tag team wrestling. But will they? Probably not. Probably not. So that was that. We then had Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks came out. She says that at Hell in a Cell, she finished what Bayley started. She says that she realized that she is unstoppable, and now she is the SmackDown Women's Champion. At Survivor Series, she goes one-on-one with Asuka. So Bayley came out. Bayley says that, you can't beat Asuka without me. And next week, I challenge you to a match for the title. Sasha says, bring everything you got because backstabbing bitches never win. Does WWE pull the same old Sasha Banks stunt next week and have her lose the title in her first title defense? I hope to fucking God not. Can I see them doing that? Absolutely. I do not have any faith or trust in this company. I just hope that Sasha Banks retains, and I hope that we do get Sasha and Bianca at WrestleMania 37. What you do with Sasha Banks in between that time, I don't really give a shit. Just give her a few interim opponents. You know why she's getting a rematch? Because they legit have no one else. because they fail to build up anyone credible in the women's division, Cool King. So then we had Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. This is actually a damn good match right here for 10 minutes. Bryan with the offense on Jey before Reigns and Heyman came out. We then had Bryan locking in the yes lock. Jey got to the ropes. We had 2 super kicks, but Jey Uso was able to counter Daniel Bryan. 2 super kicks and an Uso splash, and Uso wins. I was actually shocked right there. But what happened after the match actually gave me hope of a potential match between Roman and Bryan. And we had Roman and Uso face to face, and Uso says that you're the head of the table. I get it. You're the head of the table. I'm with you. And then Jey Uso super kicked and delivered another splash to Bryan. He says he understands now. And Roman ordered Jey Uso to continue the assault. We had an Uso splash through the table, and the assault continued going into the end of the show. And WWE even posted an exclusive of Jey Uso continuing the assault on Daniel Bryan. So right then and there, I hope that that is a sign of things to come. I hope that that is a bridge to the Royal Rumble where Bryan can win and we can get Roman and Bryan at WrestleMania 37. As far as the Usos go, I do believe that Jimmy is due back in a few months. And if that's the case, then the Street Profits versus the Usos is your match for WrestleMania for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And we get the Usos and Roman both walking out of WrestleMania with the titles. And we get a Samoan Dynasty takeover and a tyrannical reign going into the summer of 2021. That's something to keep an eye out for. Keep an eye out for that, peeps. That was SmackDown for you. Fairly decent show. And then we had 205 Live. A couple of decent matches here on 205 Live. Really nothing too crazy on 205 Live. Arya Daivari and Kurt Stallion. Kurt Stallion, I want to believe that there's potential in Kurt Stallion on 205 Live, but he just seems so green to me. It wasn't a bad match. We got a fairly decent match. Kurt Stallion ended up winning. He took out Tony Nese and hit a roll-up on Daivari for the win. That was pretty much that. And then in the main event, we had Mansoor and the Brian Kendrick defeating Ever Rise. Mansoor, I am a big fan of Mansoor. I think Mansoor is definitely going to be something big in the Cruiserweight division in time. And I would definitely love to see Mansoor. In a bigger role. I would definitely love to see Mansoor in a bigger role, possibly challenging Santos Escobar for the Cruiserweight Championship since he's been undefeated. So that's something that they could possibly look forward to. That's something that they could possibly do. But ladies and gents, Hell in a Cell 2020 in the background, that just ended. Ladies and gents, it's been almost 3 hours. That wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this video. Please check out all the links in the description, which I will post after I end the stream. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the rewind for myself if you missed it. Ladies and gents, I'm DJ Storms. This has been the Lightning Flash Update. You have a happy Halloween. You have a safe Halloween, Danielle. Cool King. May Be Tunes Peanuts. You have a great Halloween. Earl Cole, Cameron Johnson, Alex Legal Research, Jessica, you have a great Halloween as well. Please keep on sharing the stream out. Please keep on telling everybody about your boy DJ Storms. Tell everyone, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. And I will catch you next week. And next week, we actually got a new guest. My man, Little Stevie, on Twitter will be joining me next Friday for the rundown for AEW Full Gear 2020. And of course, I will be live next Saturday before Full Gear with the Lightning Flash Update. You guys have an awesome Halloween. And remember that I'm better than you. and you know it. Have a great day. Happy Halloween.